Turn that screen off for a second.
Hello gamers from around the world, this is Boxenberger, the video game enthusiast from Germany, and I would like to welcome you to today's episode of the World of Gaming, and it's a special one, Dutch. I don't think we have done a podcast on a Saturday before, if I'm correct. No, we haven't, but it's a special occasion because, Thursday, 2 hours before our podcast usually ends, 2 hours after our podcast usually ends, the Game Awards happened. And so we thought, hey, let's just delay it. Let's do it this Saturday so we can talk about all the awesome stuff that has been announced at the Game Awards. And there has been a lot of stuff that we will definitely talk about, but we will also cover a lot of other topics. Of course, this week, GTA 6 was hyped. We have heard about problems over at Bungie. And there's so much other stuff to talk about. Some awesome games have been announced, even outside of the Game Awards. So there's a lot to talk about. But first, Dutch, how are you doing today, my man?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I've got a nice cadence of games going on at the moment. Hopefully only about a week out until I finish work for the Christmas break.
Yeah.
And playing some awesome new games, so I can't complain. And we got expansions for games out of the blue.
Yeah.
We got brand new games releasing that we've both been playing. So yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing good and having fun.
That's awesome to hear, man. That is awesome to hear. But also, let me welcome everyone in the chat. I see a lot of familiar names and also some names that haven't been able to catch the show live for a while, because again, usually it's during Thursdays, and I know we stream during the workday of our friends over in the US. So for some, it can be tough to catch us live. That's definitely a beauty of doing it on a Saturday. So yeah, big shout out to you, and of course, big shout out to everyone who listens after the fact, either here on YouTube or on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you're listening. Welcome. We have an awesome show, but I also have to give a quick heads up. I'm sitting here alone at home today with the kids upstairs sleeping, but I do have one of my sons is really sick. He has been for a while now, and so I'm sitting here literally with the baby monitor, and you know how it is with the little ones when they are sick. Sometimes they don't sleep that well, so it might happen that you have to take over the show for a second or two if I have to run upstairs. Dutch,
I think
you can handle the responsibility, man.
I didn't sign up for this.
I'll give you a heads up, okay? You can do it, man. You can do it. All right. So, yeah, we have an awesome show ahead. It's going to be a lot of fun to talk about all the stuff. It's a fantastic evening ahead. So, yeah, but before we dive into all the topics, two things. First, as always, you can vote in the chat what gameplay you want to watch during the show. So definitely vote on that. And then, Dutch, what have you actually been playing? You've been teasing us earlier. You're playing a lot of stuff. So what have you been playing? And of course, let us know in the chat what you guys have been playing as well.
Yes, so I've been playing some Final Fantasy 16, like
Sweet.
yourself.
Yes.
Still some Phantom Liberty, and some Elder Scrolls Online as well. Been playing that co-op with Phantoser, and we're going to be doing a ESO stream after this as well. And then I've been playing Avatar, which released the other day. I had to hold off because I said I was going to stream it, so I had to wait till yesterday, and it was awesome. It was awesome. Still loving it. It's an absolutely gorgeous game.
Like, yes, it is.
Avatar is just beautiful. I have not seen
stunning
that level of foliage and wildlife in a game before. It is
Combined with
just like,
fantastic lighting.
yeah,
It's like
the lighting.
literally.
I've just not seen anything as detailed as that before.
Mm,
There's a lot of games do great detail, but it's just vast. Like no matter where you turn, it is hyper detailed, whether it be the water or the ground, and then like I say, the foliage is just ever ending.
yes.
But then there's little bugs and little flies and things and moths and butterflies and things like constantly flying around. It's not just one or two. There's like
Yeah.
hundreds of them. And there's the normal wildlife that's running about the things. And then if you use your tracking, you can see all the bad guy, like the bad wildlife that's like roaming around, like wolf type things.
Yeah.
And then you've got the giant wildlife, the fishes, and then all the birds and things like that are flying around. Then the humans, like it is packed with detail. And then when you go into some of the Badlands, you've got deep fogs and things like that. Like it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Especially at nighttime, man. When it turns night and you have the glowing plants and you know the creatures flying
and again,
around.
you mentioned it when you go into like cave systems, and and it matches that with the glowing, all the bioluminescence and stuff like that. Like the cave systems just glowing with like purples and greens, and it's just such a beautiful looking game. So hats off to them for that. But even then, the combat and the traversal is quite fun. I think I've seen you comment saying it's a little bit like Mirror's Edge. It is. I think Mirror's Edge meets Far Cry. So that's really entertaining, and then it's just a good game, and I'm enjoying it so far.
I'm super surprised by it. I'm still relatively early in, like maybe 3 hours or so. Basically finished the intro and then did the first 2 main missions or so. But it's really like a great combination of Mirror's Edge, Dying Light, kind of traversal, meets Far Cry, meets... It really doesn't remind me so much of Far Cry the more I play. It has too many survival aspects for that,
It does, because you have to eat.
You have to eat
to keep your stamina up.
You have to craft your own arrows and gather the resources to do so, and it has those survival. Yeah.
And even when you get your Ekran, because I have my Ekran now, so I'm flying around. When you get your Ekran, you've also got to feed your Ekran, but you can also teach your Ekran to find it. So if you get close to water, it'll like dive into the water and grab its own fish to feed itself instead of you having to feed it. So there's a lot of elements to it that that are just packed. There's just so much to it. And then there's the whole big skill tree thing as well. Like you've got your generalized skill tree for crafting and things like that, but then you've also got your Navi skill tree, which is kind of things that are at really high points in the map where you have to traverse to get to them, or really difficult spots to get to, and that's skill-based skill points that you find. And these are things like permanently enhancing yourself. And of course, you've got other little bits around the world where it's like mad little trees that give off this like essence. And if you touch them, they give permanent buffs. So there's a lot to it.
Yeah.
There's a lot to it.
It is.
Yeah, super enjoying it. And it does give exactly what I wanted from an Avatar game.
Yeah.
It's exactly what I wanted from an Avatar game. The perfect traversal, the flying, like the again, you mentioned the bioluminescence, but that is key in Avatar, because one of the key things is like all these glowing plants and things, and it stands even in the daylight. When you go into certain kind of darker areas under the trees and things, you can see those bioluminescent areas. It's just so well done. So yeah, hats off.
You can also tell that you are taller than a human.
Yes.
When you walk and run and jump and everything.
I love there's certain sections where you have to go and collect things, but they're in old human bases, and you have to crouch down to get through the door.
Yeah. And even if you simply walk through the home base or whatnot, you can tell you are taller. It feels different than walking in other games,
Yeah.
I love that. It's really good. The story is mid so far, I have to say. It's like, it's there. It's okay.
It gets, yeah. I mean, I don't know how far you are in, but it gets much better. And I like,
Okay.
it's like a clan system. So there's stories for each clan that you come across as well, and they kind of go, okay, we'll do X, Y, and Z. So the main clan you come across first is where you get your E-clan and you learn to fly and things like that. And that little section, when you do that, I'm looking forward to you getting to it. You've got to climb to the top of the floating mountains. So like that whole section there, and that's when the game actually starts. That's when you get the Ubisoft presents.
I have that, but I can't fly. I didn't.
Oh, you keep going up and keep going up.
Okay, I went up and then, no spoilers. Something happened. I didn't get it yet. Oh. And then something happens. No spoilers, but then I had to jump off the cliff, a very high cliff, and run back to the base. But I didn't get the what are they called? Ecrans or to fly.
Oh no, that's a different.
That's when they say Ubisoft presents.
Did you accidentally select a different mission whilst you was in the middle of that mission then?
Not that I'm aware of.
Actually, wait a second. No, ignore that.
Yeah.
No, it's after that mission. It's after that mission.
Okay.
Because I know what part you're talking about. So yes. If you go through there, something happens. Is that fiery?
Yes, it is fiery.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. After that.
Okay, then, after that.
So
I didn't accidentally miss it,
No. Then you start directly after that one, then you go to you do the follow-on mission, and that's with the E-clan.
I will do that tomorrow, man. We'll do that tomorrow.
That opens the game up big time when you get your E-clan and you can start flying around.
All right. Good.
I'm glad to put it relatively early, like that's 6 hours into the game, which is still lengthy enough, but it gives you enough time to learn the basic ground mechanics.
Yes.
When you open up your E-cran, that's an entirely different thing. That's so much.
Okay, can't wait for it. All right. So let's see. What did our chat vote? I'm just gonna close the poll really quick, and we have a clear winner for today, and we have Avatar. All right. So we're gonna watch some Avatar. Maybe put on some Baldur's Gate later because I only have like 1.5 hours of footage so far. It's all captured on.
We've got some other things to play.
Yeah. We have a surprise for you. A little later, Dutch spent some time to do something nice for all of us. So, but we'll get to that. Yeah, man.
We will.
So, other than that, you said you finished Final Fantasy 16.
I haven't finished it. I'm about halfway. That's a big game as
well. Halfway. All right. I feel like I'm closing into the end now. I've continued that a lot. I actually love it more the more I play it. Especially the combat becomes a lot more diverse the further you progress in the story, and the story took some really hard turns and twists, and I'm still so loving that game. It's super linear, like not even remotely comparable to what Final Fantasy 15 was, which went a lot more open worldish. This is super linear, but I do really enjoy that.
I've put it onto I don't know whether or not you can remember, I've put it kind of akin to the latter part of Final Fantasy 13. So the entire game is pretty damn linear.
Yeah.
And then it kind of has these little open world sections. 13 had this tiny little open world sections dotted about.
Yeah.
But they're not massive, and you don't really require them unless you're doing side quests.
Mm-hmm.
But the vast majority, it's pretty linear, but it's good. It's a good change of pace. I'm pleasantly surprised by 16. I am.
It really is good.
Yeah.
And I think the story is the highlight of the game. It really is good. Really good. So yeah, man. Other than that, I have been playing a little bit more of Sea of Stars on my Rock Ally, and that is just such a great game. But it becomes really complex, and I realize I need to not just use it, as a filler game on the Ally. I need to dive in with more and longer gaming sessions because it really becomes complex, man. It really does. So let us see what has our community been playing. UK Desirous is playing WRC tonight. I know you are going to play Elder Scrolls Online later. With whom you're going to play, man?
Fanto.
With Fanto.
Fanto, sir.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. A shout out to him. Sappho in the chat asks, where's Mortal Kombat 1 gameplay? I have not bought the game. I will eventually, maybe. I'm not that big into fighters anymore. I don't know. So, yeah. And Abdel in the chat is getting UB Plus to play Avatar and Prince of Persia then in January. Yeah, by the way, there's a demo coming for that game. Drew Ironleg is playing Farming Simulator. Oh, we have. Remember at Gamescom?
I do remember.
Dutch and I, we were at Gamescom and we were walking through one of these halls and there was like an insanely huge, gigantic farming simulator booth. Like,
yeah, it was an entire grass pitch out front, like a massive 100-meter pitch.
Yeah, almost like an entire soccer field, and it was crazy, and we were wondering there.
We're having like farming simulator tournaments and everything. I couldn't believe it. I didn't realize it was that popular. It was literally packed.
It was packed.
Tons of people waiting for it.
We were so surprised. We thought we missed something here. I've never played Farming Simulator. I can't talk about it, man. Maybe we should change that so that we can be part of the discussion here.
See what the hype's about.
Yeah. Abdul is playing, finishing up Remnant 2 and Alan Wake 2 before starting Baldur's Gate 3 on Xbox. Yeah, man, Baldur's Gate is out on Xbox now. I know you are not going to play it because you have to walk during combat, and you don't like that.
That's not it.
That's what you said.
It's the point. I want my guy to go over here, and then he slowly goes over there, and then you're gonna roll a dice, and okay, I can do the nah.
Bro, you have no idea what you're missing out.
How you feel about Kojima games?
Yeah, indeed I do. But it's not comparable. Baldur's Gate is actually a good game. Dan Heffron is currently playing Lamplighters League, and he's also playing Juan. Jesus, I don't even know how to pronounce that game. Juan SWAT 7, which is a little bit like a Chinese-made double A God of War. Okay. I've never heard of that game. Then Sith Lord is playing Spider-Man 2 and Forza tonight. Sweet. Good stuff. Our community is playing some awesome games, Dutch. But let us move on and let's get into some topics. Some actual topics. And let's just start right away with the Game Awards. You had the pleasure of watching it live, right?
Yes, indeed.
I didn't bother.
It was a showcase. It was a showcase more than it was a Game Awards.
Yeah,
there wasn't as many ads.
What it usually is, right? The awards are so pointless, and everyone is watching for the trailers, and they don't even try to be an award show. They have a trailer show and squeeze the awards in as fillers. But it was like, when did it start? 1 a.m. our time. And
well, by the time it actually started, it was 2 a.m.
Yeah,
your time.
So I got up in the morning. I woke up, went to YouTube, watched all the trailers, and
I literally was just spamming them in your chat whilst I was during the show.
Yes, you were. I woke up and it was very convenient in the morning. Like, just okay, and that happened, and that happened, and we got to watch all the trailers. Then flipped a little bit through the news. So let's do it like they do. Don't focus too much on the awards. Just briefly have a look here. Any surprises? Baldur's Gate won Game of the Year. You're surprised?
A couple of free DLCs was surprises.
Yeah, we will talk about the game announcement. I just want to talk about the actual awards real quick here. So
I don't think, you know what it is? Personally, I don't think there was really any surprises.
Not really, right?
For the awards. Yeah. I think the awards are pretty much how we thought they'd go.
I would agree. I was glad to see.
I'm glad Hi-Fi Rush won best
audio design.
Soundtrack.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, best soundtrack went to Final Fantasy 16.
Oh yes, yeah. Best audio
design. Yeah. So Xbox got 3 awards, 2 for Forza, 1 for Hi-Fi Rush, and well, Sony actually didn't win anything this year. So yeah,
Square Enix got 2 or 3. Baldur's Gate got 3. Oh no, Baldur's Gate got 6 or something, was it?
I would have to count. I mean, they won Game of the Year. What else? Let me really quickly browse. Best RPG they won, and I think that's it. No, best RPG, best multiplayer game, which is kind of weird because
I don't know anybody that plays the multiplayer on.
I mean, it doesn't even really have multiplayer. It has co-op.
Yeah,
and I wouldn't.
There was a few things that didn't really make much sense, to be fair.
Yeah. I mean,
I blame the categories more than the winners.
Yeah, agreed.
Like Cyberpunk's best ongoing made no sense to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Cyberpunk is not an ongoing game. It just got DLC. Like if you include that, you have to include like every game. Basically,
that's ever got a DLC.
And which game doesn't get DLC? I mean, you could nominate like Resident Evil 4 for that. It also got DLC, like literally. That's just stupid, but yeah, that's just shows you how weird these actual awards are. And I still think like having a proper award ceremony would be really good for the industry, because those awards are not for us. They are for the devs. They are there to motivate. They are there to celebrate. And everyone looks at these game awards from Keighley as the kind of like the Oscars of the gaming industry, but they really aren't, because this entire show is an advertisement and a show, and it is a trailer show, and for that it was a really good one, I would have to say, because there was really a lot of good stuff. But in terms of awards, like completely irrelevant. The categories do not make sense. The nominees do not make sense. The voting process is so intransparent. It is just, and then they literally kick off the people that get the awards from the stage because they run out of time, right? So I don't know. Maybe the DICE awards should actually be seen as those, because with the DICE awards, actual developers vote, and But anyways, let's talk about some of the announcements, man. And there were so many. I have a list here right in front of me. So how do we want to do that? Let's just talk about it, right? So Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. Oh no, hang on. Wait. Before I forget, because you prepared something particularly for this show. You edited together all the trailers that have been.
Yes.
Yeah, that have
been. So there won't be an order to speak about them. So people in the chat, there won't be an order to speak about them, but they'll be on the screen, so at least you can see all the games.
Exactly. So Yeah, that's really awesome of you, and I can see that OBS is screwing this up because it is 1080p and not 4K. I have to
So it's
adjust
made
the
it tiny,
frame.
so you need to make it big.
Yeah, make it like live on the air. Anyways, we got it sorted. So that's really cool that you took the time to edit all the trailers together, so we just let that roll during this segment here, and everyone can watch these awesome trailers again. So Dutch, yeah, what has been announced? Let's start with a couple of smaller ones. Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons is getting a remake.
Yes, looks really nice as well.
Yes, it does.
Really nice.
It really does. And I was like, I loved that game back in that was 360 days, right?
Yeah.
Very early Xbox One days. I can't really remember, but I really enjoyed that game. However, could it be that this is the first indie remake? I can't think of any other indie game that ever got a remake.
Yeah, and it's not Joseph Perez's own team that's remaking it either. He's outsourced it.
Yeah. So
they've done a really good job. I'm looking forward to playing it.
Yeah, I will probably play that again as well. Then Monster Hunter Wilds has been announced by Capcom, coming in 2025. What did you think? You're a Monster Hunter guy?
I've tried all of them. I own Monster Hunter Worlds. I've tried Monster Hunter Rise. I just can't really get into them. They're good games.
They are.
They're just not my games.
Yeah.
And I've tried, and I've I've probably put maybe 15, 20 hours into them. And it just doesn't grip us enough. This one it looks nice. I'm happy for people, for the Monster Hunter fans, that they're getting a big new Monster Hunter game.
Mm-hmm.
But just not for me. But I'm glad about it.
Yeah, I was a little surprised about that. Listen, Monster Hunter Worlds was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. My problem with it was I got there too late. I played it like a year or so after its release. And
yeah,
like all my friends have been so OP by that time, and I didn't really have someone to play it with because I couldn't keep up. So I had to play it solo, and the game really doesn't keep you that long if you're playing solo. That is literally a game made for co-op with friends. But yeah, other than that, I'm glad it's getting a full-on sequel. Only small complaint here: I didn't think it looked that good in terms of like graphical fidelity. We didn't see any gameplay, so it was like, but it was an in-game, in-engine trailer, and I thought it looked like a last-gen game. For a game that comes out in 2025, I would have expected, a little more in terms of visual fidelity. But other than that, I'm glad it's getting a sequel. But yeah, let's talk about some of the Xbox stuff. Xbox hyped it up, the show, up front. Be there. We have something exciting to show. And so we had basically three major, besides Baldur's Gate finally coming out, but we knew it's going to happen anyway in December. And it really didn't come as much of a surprise that it dropped that day. I still would have thought it would have they would have benefited from putting it in Game Pass. But yeah, it's awesome that Xbox gamers get to play it now because it is really, really a good game. But other than that, they had like three major, announcements with OD from Hideo Kojima, and then of course Blade, and finally we got to see Hellblade. Dutch, which one do you want to talk first?
Hellblade.
Yeah, let's talk about Hellblade.
Now as well.
Let's talk because I can imagine that it's gonna take you a while to get your thoughts into words. Let us hear. What did you think? We've seen like the 4th trailer of Hellblade.
Yes.
What did you think, man?
Yeah.
And it's running right now, actually.
It is, yeah. Captured on Xbox Series X,
Yes.
which is the good thing. And they made a note of that several times. It's captured on the Xbox Series X. Graphical fidelity is just absolutely insane. At the level of detail, it literally looks filmic all the way through.
Yeah, it does.
Even during the combat scenes. And the combat looks brutal. It looks gritty. I like the kind of blood marks you leave in, and the fact that the axe kind of sticks in there. It looks like you use a multitude of weapons, which is good. She's got swords and axes, and there's fire getting blown around, and it just looks absolutely phenomenal. I can't wait
with the finishers and everything. So
yeah. It was what we wanted to see in terms of the. Let's have a look at the combat. Let's see what it's all about.
Yeah.
It was just insane what they've managed to do with that game so far, and the only downside is that we didn't get that release date, and it still just says 2024. But
I would have at least appreciated, like a Q1, Q2, something like that. Narrow it down a little. Yeah,
but in terms of what we saw visually, it was just outstanding. Combat wise, like I say, it looks gritty. It looks bloody, and it looks brutal. So that's what I'm digging. I'm digging it. I'm digging the way it looks. I inboxed Melina as well and said congrats, and she said it was a kind of dream come true to go on stage and present High Lung in the game and things like that. So she's over the moon with it as well.
Awesome. Yeah, man. Listen, Hellblade just looks absolutely insane. Like you said.
Yeah.
They've not just shown the combat. What I also loved is they've shown a lot of the environmental shots. The different biomes we've seen. We've seen, beautiful sunrises or sunsets. We've seen vast landscapes, super detailed. I mean, we expected that. But of course, like you said, the combat is the one thing that everyone wanted to see, including us, of course. And so, yeah, I have two things about it. The combat itself looked absolutely awesome, I think. It was the big complaint of the first game that the people had. I enjoyed the combat in the first game to some degree, but there was something missing. The heaviness was missing, and you can really tell from the scenes they've shown that this is different now. The combat feels heavy, like when you think about a game like God of War, which had like a fantastic, phenomenal combat system. It is because it feels like heavy when you punch someone. It actually makes an impact, and you can tell that they are going for that. The animation work, with the finishers, and it's bloody and gory, and there's it looks so, natural, like great mocap. It's I loved it. I loved what I've seen. The one thing I was a little surprised is like the enemies she was fighting looked a little same than the ones we fought in the first game. So I'm still hoping.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna show off what they would say is a boss fight as yet. They've already showed off the big troll.
Yes, they've seen.
I think they just.
But I don't think that's boss per se.
Yeah. But it's like it's a set moment, but I don't think they're going to show off like one of the bosses like they had in the first one, where you had kind of Hela and things like that. I don't think you'll see that. I think that would be what they class, because that would be story wise, and I don't think they kind of
I agree.
So,
but
generalized enemies.
It was still the little thing I say. Really, you're showing just the same enemies that you fought like hundreds of them in the first one?
Yeah, apart from like the heavy flamethrower guy who's like spitting fire at you and
Yeah,
things like that, that was cool.
that was cool. That was really cool. So, but other than that, man, it looks phenomenal. The visual fidelity, like even her own character, not just the hair, but everything on her clothes is moving and
Yeah.
reacting to her body movement properly. It looks phenomenal. In the cinematic shots, I noticed a lot of chromatic aberration, and I'm so rooting for us to be able to turn that off because I really don't like chromatic aberration in games.
I'm sure you could in the first, couldn't you? I'm sure you could turn chromatic aberration off in the first. I'm sure I did as well.
I've no idea. I can't remember, man. It's been too long.
Could.
Yeah, could
when
be.
Because they added it when they did the 4K update. They added all the bells and whistles options
that,
and stuff to
that
it.
Could
You
be.
could turn it off.
That could be. I hope so. But other than that, the facial animation, remember like 2 years ago when they've shown this meta-human Unreal Engine demo thing, and everyone was like, yeah, that's just tech demo, that's not going to be in the game. And now you look at this, and I think the highlight in terms of that was not just Senua itself, but they've shown her, and I'm not really sure if it was her boyfriend from the first game. They've shown a guy, but
yeah.
I'm not really sure. It's been a little too long to remember exactly how he looked in the first game, but it could be. But his face and the eyes and everything that was like absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, Hellblade. Now you mentioned not showing a release date, and Pyro also in the chat says he's expecting that to be announced at a developer direct early next year, and I think so too. I still believe that this is maybe an April game, because we now know, which will, if we get to it, we'll talk about it a little later. Stalk 2 also got a great new trailer this week. And revealed a Q1 release. So I think Hellblade is a Q2. And so I'm still betting on April, and that would make an ideal thing, do a developer direct in January or February and then announce it for April. So what do you think, man?
Yeah, I think when did we have the dev direct last time? It was pretty early.
It was January this year.
I think it'll be January again.
I mean, it made sense in January this year because because they had a no-show at the Game Awards last year. They didn't have anything.
But if you think, but at the same time, the games that they showed were still games that we already knew were coming, minus Hi-Fi Rush. So I still think it'll be January. Like Pyro said, I think they will have. I think they will have Avowed there, and I think they will have Hellblade there with the release dates for both.
I don't think Avowed will be there because Avowed will be like a holiday game.
Oh, they'll still give it a release date, I think.
Yeah, but that would be for like the June showcase.
It depends.
I'm not sure. I'm still thinking that after the feedback they have gotten from this year in June, that they are probably trying to rework a couple of things. And so I think it's still a holiday game. And then they announced the actual date in June, and they don't need to show it, because if you do a developer direct in January, what would you show? You would show the games that come out rather sooner than later. And we know that Towerborn is scheduled early next year, early 24. They have Stalker coming in Q1, which then would be probably a February or March game. Don't think that's a January game. And then Hellblade early Q2, April. And so there you have it. Like last time they showed 4 games, in the developer direct. They focused it on 4 games. And so you would have Towerborn, you would have Hellblade, and you would have Stalker, and then maybe either Ara History Untold or Flight Sim, or yeah.
I don't think they put Aura in there.
In the developer direct, why not?
I don't think they put Aura in there. No, it wouldn't have an effect. No one cares about Aura. No offense to the team, but no one cares about Aura. No one's going to do that one. It's not a game that people are that bothered about.
Well, I do agree.
They weren't even that bothered at the Game
agree,
Award. They weren't even that bothered at Gamescom. Gamescom, it was the emptiest booth.
It was. Yeah, it was. I know. It was the only booth without a line. And so I do agree that it would probably help if they brought that game also to console day one, but only focusing on PC.
Yeah, the PC only doesn't help it at all.
Doesn't help it at all because there are too many RTS games on or strategy games on PC anyway. So I feel like but they would like to push it. So it's the one game during the developer direct no one cares about, and then you have awesome Towerborn, Shadow Drop, and then you show Stalker, and some of the development history of that game, which would simply, bring up all the emotional parts, and game looks phenomenal and is out soon in February or March. And then you show Hellblade with the release date in April. I think that it would make a killer developer direct. However, Dutch, Hellblade, back to Hellblade. Let me catch up on some of the super chats. Because Pyromed sends in a £2 super chat and says his complaint of Hellblade 1 was Psychosis felt close to home. So
I think the devs would say good.
Probably. But
because they were working with a mental health team that deals specifically with psychosis in the UK. So I very much would think that's what they were trying to do. And obviously, if you look at the backstory behind Hellblade 1, they worked with those with psychosis that wanted to make sure it was as lifelike as possible.
Yeah.
So I can understand why it'd be hard if you've suffered from psychosis. But that was the aim, to educate those that did not have psychosis as to what it would feel like.
And it will be even harder with Project Mara whenever that comes out.
Yeah.
So Pyromed also follows up with a channel member chat for being a channel member for 12 months. Thank you so much for the continued support here. And he says, whoop whoop, year anniversary. Yeah, I don't know what anniversary you're referring to. Let us know, man. But yeah, Dutch, anything you want to add to Hellblade?
It's his member anniversary.
Oh, member anniversary.
12 months. 1 year, 12 months.
Yeah, man. Awesome. Right. Awesome. Yeah, Dutch. Anything you want to add to Hellblade before we move on?
No,
to the next
I'm
game?
just ready for the. I'm ready for the game now.
I think we all are.
I don't want to see anything more to do with the story. I've seen a nice teaser of the combat. No doubt it's going to be a little bit more in depth when we get to play it itself. Again, I've seen a multitude of weapons that she was using throughout there, so you don't just have your sword. It means you can pick up weapons because she has an axe at one point. She's got a sword at another point.
Yeah.
So it kind of gives some hints and different kinds of enemies and things like that as well. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Yeah.
Sweet. All right. Then we had the big surprise about Blade.
Yeah.
It kind of leaked up front, but only like 12 hours before or so. So, yeah, Kane is making a Blade game, and they've shown a cinematic CGI trailer. And Xbox finally has that pop culture IP, man, which we have been always talking about for how long have we been talking about that? That this is one thing that Xbox is lacking in their game roster, pop culture IP, may it be a superhero game, may it be like something like Star Wars, or and now they have Marvel's Blade. So what do you think, man? We know that it's going to be third-person single-player game. You excited from that studio? Would you rather have Dishonored 3 from them, which I know a lot of people have been rooting for?
Nah. Dishonored 3, it's good. It's good with a small number of people, and people love that game, but not enough people love that game. If they hit it out the park with Blade, it could be their breakout moment from Arcane Leon. And no, it's not the same Arcane that did Redfall. That was Arcane Austin.
Yeah.
Just to let people know, like, Arcane's a big company within Bethesda. Arcane Leon is a different team entirely. They did Deathloop, and which was the other one?
Dishonored.
That's the one, yeah. Dishonored, Deathloop, and something else as well. Was it not? No, not Ghostwire. That was somebody else again.
No. I think that's the two games.
Arcane Leon as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they do Prey? No, they didn't do Prey. That was Austin.
Yeah.
So yeah, man.
So yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. I'm happy for the announcement. I'm glad it's an R-rated Blade, which means it's going to be bloody and gory.
Yes.
And yeah,
that's what we want.
It's 5 years away,
at least.
So all we got was a teaser. But it was the announcement that mattered. However, really weird to not have any Xbox logos on that.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up. There's been a huge discussion on the social
It's not even on
medias.
the Xbox. It's not even on the Xbox YouTube.
It isn't?
Nope.
I didn't know. I haven't checked. That's weird. Yeah, so what do you think? The discussion is out there. Is it going to be Xbox exclusive or not? And why didn't they say what it will be?
Yeah, I think it will be. I just think it's just Xbox being inconsistent with messaging. Like, they still haven't got it. We were talking about this the other week about their marketing and their messaging.
Yeah.
Like, when you announce something like that, especially now you own Bethesda, I don't care when the fuck the agreement was agreed.
Yeah.
Now you own Bethesda, you get on top of that marketing and you say, no, we're making our mark, and then missed the boat. I don't know how you messed that up with an announcement like that, but you put your name on it. Punk Xbox.
Yeah.
That's it. All you have to do is a logo at the beginning that people know. Okay, it's weird. The messaging is just non-existent.
Is weird.
And the only messaging we've seen was on Twitter, which was from the likes of Aaron Greenberg, who put Arcane X Marvel X Xbox equals Blade or something like that.
Yeah.
And that was it. That was the only message. So we can assume, because they're owned by Bethesda, that it'll be exclusive. But I just think marketing-wise, they just messed up again.
I couldn't agree more. Listen, there's no reason to believe that this is going to be a multi-platform game. It makes sense for some of their IPs that they own, like Call of Duty now. Okay, yeah, you leave that on as a multi-platform title, but a single-player, third-person action adventure or action RPG or whatever it will be, third-person single-player game, it does not make sense at all. And I've seen also a lot of people say, yeah, well, but Disney, they own Marvel and they don't want exclusivity. Shut up. It's like they do it with Wolverine, they do it with Spider-Man. It's not Disney holding it back, and it is going to be absolutely an ecosystem exclusive. Of course, it will come to PC, it will come to console and Game Pass and cloud and all the good stuff, but yeah, of course it is. But I do agree that's Xbox again shooting themselves in the foot, because now nobody is talking about how exciting it actually is to get a great Blade game. You know, we haven't, like, usually you would expect people being out there speculating. Okay, what's the story? Where do they position it in the comic universe? There are a lot of different comic storylines. Where do they go with that? Why is it in France, not somewhere in the UK or US? So like those kind of discussions that you would expect after such an announcement, but no, the discussion is now, exclusive or not. Like every major outlet out there, especially the IGNs and Kotakus, and everyone is like, ooh, Xbox, weird Xbox news again. So yeah, I don't think it's like good on their side. I've seen also people say, yeah, maybe Xbox did it intentionally because they did it with Starfield as well. Announced that relatively late. But yeah, doesn't matter. I don't think it's good marketing to not simply say, hey, it's an Xbox ecosystem exclusive, because we all know it's going to be.
Insomniac and Sony did it with Wolverine, so it makes no difference how far out it is.
Yeah,
and Wolverine isn't an IP that Sony own. Wolverine's an IP that Marvel own, so it makes no. And again, the FTC thing is nonsensical either, because it would be a weak argument. Like if it'd be, they're holding back such and such, Microsoft would go, but Sony have Wolverine, and Wolverine's also exclusive to Sony. And then Lena Khan would have fuck all to talk about.
Yeah.
It would just fall on deaf ears. It's a weak argument. So even Microsoft lawyers know that. So it's pointless. Like, Absolutely. It's not even it's a non-story, that one.
And listen, we don't even know if this game will launch on the current generation of consoles. So, like you said, they literally said, we just started development. Of course, they released Deathloop just a year ago, and it's they just started development on that, so it's going to be 5 years plus probably till we actually get to play that game. So we are talking literally here 2028, 2029, so it could very well be like a next gen game that they have announced, and by then Xbox will have owned Bethesda for almost 10 years. Nobody is even remotely thinking by then that a Bethesda game is not an Xbox game. You know what I mean? It's like we are still in 2023. We are still like, Starfield started development prior to the acquisition, was supposed to come out around the time that when they acquired them. But now, if we're talking about 28 or beyond, nobody is going to think of Bethesda not being an Xbox exclusive studio or publisher. Of course. So, I agree with you, man. It's not good on their messaging, but let's focus on the good stuff here. We are getting a Blade game, dude. I'm excited.
Getting an R-rated play game.
And
it's a third-person action adventure game. So
yes,
I'm in.
Absolutely. I'm totally in for that. Sith Lord sends in a channel member chat for being a channel member for 16 months. Shout out to you, brother. And he says, we need Umbra to voice Blade. Our brother Infinite Umbra. Indeed. His voice would definitely fit to Blade. Listen, man. You think they finally did it. Pop culture IP. You happy with the character they chose, or would you rather have seen them do, I don't know, Iron Man, Captain America, whatnot, something like that? Because Blade, I'm a fan, but let's be real, the Blade had its highs during the Wesley Snipes movies, and those are what now, 15 years old or so.
Yeah, isn't there a new Blade in production as well, film-wise? I'm sure
Is
there is.
there?
Yeah.
I don't. Okay, good on them.
I think that's potentially why, because if you have a look at Indiana Jones, that originally was meant to kind of release in the same time scale as Dial of Destiny, but it didn't. Of course, we still don't have Indy, but it was kind of to tie in with the franchise and the rebirth of the franchise.
Yeah.
And I think the decision to make Blade as well would have been okay. Well, they're revisiting the IP again on Disney side or Marvel side, so we'll choose that. But it's also an R-rated one, which I think is something that they wanted to work on. And if you have a look at the likes of Iron Man and the likes of Thor or anything like that, outside of Wolverine, there isn't many R-rated Marvel characters.
That's true.
So I think that goes into the thinking as well. That we have to make a child-safe game, and then it limits it limits what we do in that game as well. So yeah, it's a different kettle of fish. So making it R-rated as well would also kind of assist with the exclusivity kind of thing. It's not a game that will be say, oh, we need that everywhere. Well, not everyone can play it anyway because it's R-rated.
Yeah.
So realistically, but yeah, I think it's a good choice. I think it's a good choice. Now, again, the only time I'd kind of entertain a different Marvel character would be if an Iron Man game came out, it would have to have the flying mechanics and the combat mechanics from Anthem.
Yeah,
that would be awesome.
That would be those mechanics were fantastic, man.
Yeah,
that absolutely.
They nailed that combat in Anthem. It was just unfortunate that the content wasn't there.
Yeah, but if you played the story, I still stand by it. If you played Anthem with the anticipation of playing a great single-player game, you got a fantastic campaign out of it with 20 to 25 hours gameplay, with great mechanics, visually beautiful game. Yeah. No, man, I'm excited for Blade. I think it's a great choice. You don't have to, because if you look at the Marvel IPs right now, honestly, are we that excited for the big?
No, I think people are pretty drained on some of the Marvel stuff at the minute.
Yeah, I agree.
They're looking at the likes of like Loki did well, but even then,
Loki was the really good one of the shows they did after they ended the Avengers with and basically restarted the MCU now, and now we have all those weird.
Yeah, after Endgame, it's been pretty.
Endgames, yeah, thank you.
Been great. Yeah, it hasn't been great after Endgame. And if you even have a look at Thor, like Thor: Love and Thunder didn't do well. There's been quite a few Marvel things that haven't hit
that
where they need to hit.
Haven't really hit.
And people are tiring on it. So, even Spidey 2, which has done it all right, it definitely hasn't hit the heights that the previous one has, because otherwise they would have shouted it from the rooftops.
Yeah.
So I think people are just tiring a little bit on certain Marvel IPs, especially lead characters. I think they want to see something a little bit different.
Exactly. So I don't think that Marvel, because there's no Iron Man anymore, there's no Captain America, the exciting things are not there right now. And with Blade, Marvel hasn't tied Blade into the MCU yet, and I like that. So because that allows Blade to stand on its own, they can do a little bit more without being connected to the MCU. And we all like mature games. Especially since we have our analytics checked out the other week, and we realized that our main audience, like 80+% of our audience, is 30 and above. So
we've got some old ass people in this chat.
Yeah, we've got some. I didn't want to phrase it that way, man. But yes, we are old.
We're all old.
We're
all old and achy. Come on.
Anyway.
I'm not gonna look at what we are.
So I really think Blade is a great choice. You can do so. It's a great character. You know, the Daywalker. By the way, BitCloud is joining us in a second, which is awesome.
So he's jumped in, has he? He's jumped in, has he?
I've just sent him the link. Just sent him the link, so that's awesome. No, I think Blade really can do a lot with it, and you know, it is not used. The vampire setting isn't something we get that often. Yes, we had Red Fail earlier this year, but other than that, we don't get too many vampire games. Yes, there are the Vampire Survivors, but you know what I mean. It's not like, and I think there's really a lot that they can do with that IP. Blade is known enough to be recognized, but not used enough to be like, oh, not again this way. Sometimes with like things like Spider-Man, okay, another Spider-Man movie or game or whatnot. You know what I mean? It's like a really, really good choice, I think. I cannot wait to see what Arcane is going to do.
The music's going to be great in this game. I can already tell the music's going to be great.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like you said, it's going to be a while before we're going to play that. And yes, we're going to play it exclusively in the Xbox ecosystem.
There's a lot of people complain about this stuff, but at the same time, like I'm sitting here thinking, if it's anything like this year, for the next couple of years, we can't complain about anything because you're not going to have the time to think, let alone play all the games that are coming out.
Yeah,
like there's so many things coming out at this point that I'm just like, it's coming out when it's coming out. Like I've got a lot of the games that I've got sitting there ready to play, and it's not now. I do have an official backlog because it's that many games that are coming out that I have to play. I'm like, I need to play Final Fantasy 16 and the new DLC, which we'll talk about. I need to play the new Rebirth. I need to play Avatar. I need to play X. Like these are games that I actually want to play, so I have a backlog.
Stalker. That's all just Q1, you know. Yeah, I agree. But hey, let us welcome BitCloud. Man, so awesome of you to jump in. How you doing, my man?
I'm good. What's up? You hear me loud and clear?
Yeah, you're loud and clear.
All right. Yeah, no, I'm feeling great, man. It was a good show. Something that surprised the hell out of me. I will say that.
Yes.
It surprised the hell out of me.
Absolutely.
Now, y'all remember this conversation? We've had this conversation multiple times.
Yes, we had.
We've had it. We've had it on.
And I know you would have loved to see Spawn, but it's Blade. What do you think about Blade?
We've had this conversation.
Yeah.
Listen. And I'm glad. And Dutch brought up too. Yeah, they perfect timing because the movie is being produced as well. I don't have too high hopes for the movie. I'm just gonna put that out there. I'm not too over the moon after.
I didn't even know that there's one in production, but yeah.
Yeah, it's supposedly going to be PG-13,
okay,
or something like that. So that immediately kind of killed all my anticipation for the movie. Supposedly.
That sounds weird.
Really for that. So that's what they're doing for Blade. But as far as like the choice of character, I mean, like we said, like most of y'all have been mentioning Punisher as like a character that Microsoft could use. Honestly, a lot of people forget about Blade, and I'm glad Blade is that character to start it off with them. Yeah. Now, I got a little worried when we first saw the trailer because we saw Arcane and then we saw what looked to be a vampire. I was like, don't tell me this is DLC for Redfall. Don't tell me this is DLC. And then I saw Marvel. I was like, wait a minute. And I was like, okay. So that was fantastic. I'm glad we're getting that. They're finally listening. They're getting into what I said multiple times. Get into that superhero conversation. It's not about copying PlayStation. It's about offering an option to those who are into that type of thing, and
Yeah.
you get into that type of hype. You want to be around that type of hype. So that's good to see. Looks great. So
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we will have to wait a little. But-
Yeah, no, that was the buzzkill. They said they just started production. It's like,
So,
I
okay.
thought it was like midway
Next
through or
gen
something. Right.
game. That's going to be a next gen game. Yeah, but anyway, it's
Yeah.
exciting.
Oh, yeah.
Man, but like you said, it was a really good show. Is in terms of announcements, I mean the awards is another thing, but we covered that. But let's talk about the Kojima game. But before we do that, I need to shout out Fantoso since in the £2 super chat it says shout out to the panel and carbon dated chat. Shout out to you and shout out to everyone else in the chat, by the way. And if you do enjoy the show, definitely make sure to hit the like button. And if you're new here, consider subscribing. Usually we have that show on Thursdays, but since the Game Awards happened Thursday to Friday night for us, we decided to delay it this week's podcast to Saturday.
Very busy.
Yeah,
very busy week, and you had GTA 6 reveal.
Oh yeah,
well.
we will get to that a little later. And OD was announced.
Yes.
From Hideo Kojima. So, any thoughts on that?
Okay.
Yes.
I got a
Because
lot
people
too.
got really confused by it.
Okay, then let us
People
hear
thought it was
that.
just- because people keep forgetting that this was a meta-human reveal /
Yes.
tech demo. They
Mhm.
assumed that was just actors on screen and like acting to a camera, but it's not. That's meta-human, which is the full facial scans doing the things that they were doing there. So that's actually what the characters will look like. So it's a good representation of the graphics they're going for. But we learned more after the fact than we did during that trailer. That was just a tech demo for what it was.
Mhm.
However, it is definitely intriguing, and looking into all of the notes that they kind of showed both during the awards and then talking to things like Jordan Peele, which was a really good standout moment there as well. The iconic moment there, which people didn't really put together, was the PT door that was in the middle of the stage.
Mhm.
The same door that they used for PT that they used to get Jordan Peele out and Hideo Kojima out. So there was a reason for it, and it is going to be a horror, but it's also going to be mixed with, as he says, a movie / horror. PT ultimately was meant to be that. So I think he's eventually getting to realize that vision,
Yeah,
but
now
to
he's
a
gonna amplify it.
grander scale.
Yep.
To a grander scale. So I think it's just going down the PT route, the full-on horror, in-your-face scare.
I mean, you
Yeah.
could definitely get that
From-
vibe from the trailer as well. So
Yeah.
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 I got that. You guys remember Until Dawn from
yes,
Super
Yes.
Massive?
Oh,
I got
awesome
that
game.
Until Dawn type of vibe. I don't know if you
Mm.
got that, Dutch. I immediately got that when I saw the door and what he was doing. I was like, okay, so we're getting the full-fledged, like over the top. Plus, I'm guessing Jordan Peele will be writing the entire
I
script.
think
like
he
did
said
to
he's got multiple, and Jordan Peele was one,
her.
but he
Okay.
has multiple horror icons doing the writing for this.
Oh yeah, so this should be
yeah.
good in terms of that. It should absolutely be good, like
Yeah.
an overall experience by itself. I'm looking
I
forward
would say
to
for
it.
Jordan,
Won't surprise me.
Peele, that would be more along the lines of the not so much the horror moments for him, because Jordan Peele likes more to build tension.
Yeah,
And so I think he'll be more helping with kind of the tension aspects of it and like the weird moments.
mhm.
He makes some weird ass films.
Yeah, like UF. Well, no, not what was it? Not a
Nope.
Planet Earth. Nope. Yeah, nope. That was that one. I thought we had understood at the beginning, right? The first trailer, and it's like, okay, no. And then you watch it, it's like, no, it's the complete opposite. So I like his spin that he likes to throw on things. So it is gonna be interesting to see what they do in terms of how they go about it. Since Sony's doing the whole Silent Hill thing, the remake, supposedly, it is interesting to see. Since it's not going to be Silent Hill, what is he going to do? Since is he going to call it PT Is he going to call it a whole new game in general? Not really sure. But
I'm still intrigued as to what he's using the
like the
Azure
engine?
and the cloud for.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Like
don't know.
what is the world he's building that requires assets being streamed in via the cloud? Because that's essentially what the Azure will be used for, is asset streaming. So what is this world that he's building that requires that? Is it because it is the world that he's building in terms of the horror sections is so random? These moments are just different for everybody, and that like these jump scare moments or these scare moments are essentially streamed in because they are random for everybody.
Remember Death Stranding, how they did his whole social system thing?
Yeah.
Maybe this is a take on that, but instead, like, remember, it feels like the game just completely comes to life even further after a certain chapter in Death Stranding. Like the roads appear and you see everything like you like, wow, this is what I contribute to certain thing. So I'm wondering if that's how he's gonna build towards the whole demonic type sections with the creatures or whatever the way he goes about it with the NPCs, like you said earlier, like nightmare sections. Maybe that's what that is for.
Maybe. I mean, since it's Kojima and he already talks about it being a movie with gameplay, you could also think it's simply going to be too big to be installed locally, you know. If you but then there's, of course, since he's particularly been partnering with Microsoft, the option of some sort of AI implementation, you know, that you have certain things generated by AI whilst you are playing. I could see that happening. That's honestly, that's the exciting part for me about this. I'm not a big Kojima fan.
It's mad. Kojima's had to come out and put a post out saying, listen, I'm working with Sony on Death Stranding and I'm working on Microsoft on OD. Like, that is the way it is. Those are exclusives for each platform, and that's the way it is. Like, people are just... So he must have been getting pestered to death by people asking why he's not putting it on Sony. And he's like... So he's had to put his own tweet out.
This is their contracted, obligated game that he's been talking about. This was the big announcement. And
he specifically on stage said, I'm working directly with Microsoft and Xbox Game Studios to make this game. Like, it's not like he's doing it by himself. He requires Xbox Game Studios in order to make this game possible.
I just hope he doesn't make it like was it Quantum Break, where it was like it has like that whole TV vibes. I hope it doesn't have that. Like,
I think it'll be like I think because it won't. I don't think it'll have like combat or anything in it. I think it'll be more like akin to, like you say, the PT opening section, but also if you think of Outlast, where it's like just
interactive. You know,
it's you can't just get away because you will die. Just get out of there. Like, it's going to be a horror experience, like a just straight down the middle horror experience. And he's talking about like face the fear. I think it is. He's trying to make it as scary as possible, which is something that he hasn't done for a while.
Okay. Yeah. No, it looks good. It looks good. It was a definitely good surprise. What was wild to me though, I don't know if y'all caught on to this. So Jordan Peele and Hideo Kojima had like 6 minutes to go over this, right? Yeah. But like everybody who won awards had less than 30 seconds.
Yes.
That was kind of getting to me. It's like, okay, we're getting to these speeches, and then like they start getting emotional. They start talking about a certain aspect. Then you hear the music just start blaring over them. And it's like, that's not. I mean, it was a funny joke at the start of the show with Christopher Judge. It was a funny joke.
Yeah, it was a funny joke.
Even Christopher Judge had a minute and a half.
Yeah, but it's like, come on, what are we doing here? So I thought that was really, really weird how they did that. But I ain't gonna lie, man. It was some announcements in here that shocked the hell out of me. I've opened up with you guys with Sega in particular.
Oh,
Vin, I know Vin lost his mind.
We haven't talked about that yet. So yeah, let's talk about it. They announced 5 new games in development: Jet Set Radio, Shinobi Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, and Crazy Taxi, and more.
Yeah,
but those are more. More.
Those are just the highlights. Yeah,
it's crazy.
I got emotional. I was like, no way.
I think we all got shocked. Even me, I was like, that is a big one. Like, I didn't expect to see, like, when I seen Jet Set, I was like, aha. Well, we've seen the leak, so of course they're doing it. But then it went straight into the first thing I got me seeing the Shinobi cabinet. I was like, Shinobi? It's like, nah.
Yeah.
And then it went straight into Jet Set, and then they showed Shinobi, a new Shinobi, and they showed a new golden axe, and I was like, whoa, okay, fair enough. And then they showed, like I say, they showed Crazy Taxi, and they showed a 3D Streets of Rage. I was like, what? What is this?
This is what I'm talking about. That's how you do fan service, but you also pay homage to everyone. And I was like, wow, time really has come. I mean, it's passed. Where we're now here, though, we're getting these, and it looked fantastic. I can't wait to see what they do for that.
I think a little thing out after it as well. Sega said they want to bring back the feel of what they were like during the Dreamcast days, which was just trying to pump out hit.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what they aim. That's what essentially they're saying their aim is now going forward, is to just do that, just focus on making things that everybody wants.
Yeah, that's where they kind of lost their identity. They went from catering, or they went from like just trying to just stand out to catering. Like they didn't really think about just putting out their own identity. That's what made them what they were. And I'm glad, we're getting that back, that type of intensity back with the studio. So it was good, man.
Not only that, I think it's great to see them focus on the IPs that got them there in the first place, and not just Sonic.
Yeah,
Sonic
needs a long break, like a long break at this point. After the last one, I think that pretty much he's earned it. He's like, you can't just rely on Sonic the carrier. Now, if you bring back Sonic, I think this is a golden opportunity to bring Sonic back, but in the glory days of what Sega was, you know what I'm saying? Like, bring back the Sonic Adventure 2s type of style Sonic. Those will sell. But I do think they need to scale that back heavily. Like, leave Sonic alone. Sonic is at this point where it's like go away. Like, people don't want to see it no more. They want to see something else. And also, the fact that you're bringing back classics is what people want.
Absolutely. Also with like the Yakuza games, yes, there's a fan base out there, but it's exactly what
too many, I think.
Too many of them, and that's not what the classic Sega fans are excited about. They're not excited about a Yakuza, but they are excited about a Streets of Rage or Jet Set Radio, and like you guys said, the nostalgia side of things, and it's really cool to see that. I'm
also glad, Bucky, that these are new games. Like, of course, they're remastering Jet Set, or making a new Jet Set Radio, not remastering it. They're making a new one. But they're also making a new 3D Golden Axe, like from scratch. So I'm glad they're not just going, we'll just remake the old ones, but we'll make new ones.
Yeah, bring it to modern day.
That's the thing that stood out to me,
Yeah. Streets of Rage looked also awesome with that 2.5D look, and no, that was really, really exciting. And I did not expect that.
You didn't put the video on loop?
Oh.
No, I saw that. That was a nice surprise too. Exodus. That was really, really nice. Matthew McConaughey is in that. That surprised me. Looks like Mass Effect. You guys getting that vibe from it?
A little. I mean, that's also how they described it, right? It's. I mean, it is from the BioWare developers. And they said it's going to be an RPG, and when you look at that trailer, of course you're getting Mass Effect vibes, which is awesome to see, because it's going to take a while before we see the next Mass Effect from BioWare. They bring out Dragon Age maybe next year, probably 25, and so there's no way that we will see like a BioWare Mass Effect game before 28, 29, the earliest.
Yep.
So yeah, I really enjoyed that trailer. It looks really, really cool.
Yeah, it was nice, refreshing, like break, from what you were getting earlier in the show, and I was like, okay, that's actually good. Like I like what I saw there. I'm trying to go through what else was shown on here. Like most of the stuff, kind of like the show kind of just went by.
I have the list. I have the list right in front of me. So let's talk about the God of War DLC for Ragnarok, which is
Oh, the
out.
free
Yes.
DLC.
The free
love letter to
DLC.
fans?
That was the biggest surprise about it all.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. The love letter to fans. Yo, shout out to Sony Santa Monica. You know, they appreciate your time, ladies and
What's
gentlemen.
happening at Sony? We are not used to that to get free stuff from them. So
Listen. I've roasted the whole chat was laughing. I started roasting the whole situation, and it's like, okay, so you mean to tell me that Neil Druckmann flew all the way over here just to accept an award for best adaptation of the same game, and instead of getting on the stage and say thank you to the fans and actually like saying, hey, listen, retracting the price for what you got to pay for that remaster, that would have been a golden opportunity. Just like, hey guys, listen, for right now, you guys can pre-order Last of Us Part 2 for free. You get it right now. You're right now. Like, that would have been like a moment to like mend the flames. But no, of course not. You have to pay $10 for a game we've already played. We've all played. And one particular game, a lot of us don't want to play again.
Yeah.
For a rogue mode. Sony Santa Monica gives you the exact same rogue mode for free.
Yeah.
And it's the holiday season.
Yeah.
Right? It's cool. It's cool. I like free stuff. So
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I will definitely check it out. I actually downloaded it again today whilst playing Final Fantasy 16. So, and speaking of which, Final Fantasy 16 got a DLC announced, which is out now. The whole expansion pass, the first one is out now. The other one comes out in, I think,
Well
March.
priced, actually.
Or they said spring 24.
So the one that's out now is pretty short. Pyros already beat it.
All right.
It's like 3-4 hours long. Echoes of something. I forgot the name of it now.
Echoes of the Fallen. And the other one is called The Rising Tide. Yeah.
Rising Tide's a much larger expansion. But well priced. Nice surprise to see nice surprise that the game was available immediately or semi-immediately. I was trying to download it during the show and couldn't find it. But well priced. Looks great. I'm digging the game anyway. I'm really liking Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah,
I'm glad
me
that
too.
I'm glad that it says you need to complete these 2 quests. It tells you at the start when you boot it up. You need to complete these 2 quests in order to access the DLC. Because it's kind of story based. So but yeah, really good and well priced. Like I said, $7.99 for just Echoes or $20 for both of them. So it's hallelujah.
Not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, then you got the reveal for Rebirth. That was that too.
Yes.
So that was another good announcement. But I was I don't know, man. I felt like it was very light on the PlayStation announcements.
Yes, it was.
Mark Cerny was here, and I was like, okay, why is Mark Cerny here? Why are they zooming in? Is there like a hardware reveal? Are we gonna have like an Xbox moment at this show?
Yeah,
just get it out the way because a lot of people know it's 2024 PS5 Pro. No, we ain't getting nothing like that. You just got Sony winning for best second party game or
no, they didn't win anything.
Yeah, they did. They won for Chia. Chia won an award, right? So that was
Chia, the indie game won.
Yeah, so they won some for indie game, and then they won best adaptation.
No, indie game was Sea of Stars.
No, they won an award for Chia. I don't know what it was for.
It was something independent. It was best indie game or
the best indie game was Sea of Stars, and best debut indie game was Cocoon.
Chia did get an award for something. I can't remember what it was for.
Yeah, it was on Twitter because Shuhei Yoshida retweeted it. I forgot.
I remember Yoshida going on stage and getting it, but I don't know what the category was for because it was. In fact, that was one of the smallest categories that got an opportunity to go on stage and actually give something because every other small category didn't go on stage at all.
I'm browsing through the list. I can't find it. Honestly,
if I go to Twitter, hold on, I can. Let me see.
Games for Impact, right? There it is.
Okay.
Yeah, but you're right. Sony news were super light. I mean, God of War is cool and all, but yeah, when you look at Xbox with OD and Blade and of course Hellblade 2 showing really well, it would have It would have been
Can you,
cool to see something.
Can we talk about that? Can we talk about that for a second? Hellblade 2?
Yes,
we
go on.
yes,
You get your
we
thoughts.
already did, but you can definitely share your
okay.
thoughts. So,
Okay. I've been saying this with y'all for a while. The only thing I want to see, I got to see gameplay. That's the only thing. They've been holding that too close to the chest. We finally saw it. Thank God they improved every damn thing. I did see subtle animations from the first one, like that heavy swing she does. That kind of was like, I don't know if y'all saw it. That was in there, but everything else was like so good. Like they nailed every single thing about that. They even got the little like the way it kind of gave you that Tomb Raider. I call them Tomb Raider shots where like they're in the cave, those tight crevices, and the way the camera like follows. They nailed every single thing about this. I was like, that's what I wanted. So I'm glad Ninja Theory got that moment to shine. It was like, wow, this looks good. They didn't give you a precise date though. They said 2024 though.
2024,
which is weird. Which is weird. I'm guessing they're calculating on what like the bigger releases are coming in 2024 because they really want the game to shine.
I don't
I'm
think
not really sure.
So. We mentioned that earlier as well because we all think or expect a developer direct again in January. And I think that's when they drop the release date. So, my guess is still April. So,
still April.
Yeah.
No, it looks phenomenal. I was like, holy hell, that's
it does
insane. That's insane. Ninja Theory, man, that's wow.
Yeah,
they took it to
you
another
give time
level.
and money time and money and the technology, and that's what they've crafted. So I can't wait.
You can tell they're new to this tech. You can tell because they never got this budget before. They were they were indie at one point when they first made Hellblade. And you look at just the upgrade, it's like they're having a blast making this.
Yes.
So it was good to see that.
Absolutely.
Wukong Black Myth was shown.
It was shown.
Finally, we got a release date.
Yeah.
August 20th.
Yeah.
Next year. So
on everything as well. On everything. Series X, PlayStation 5, PC.
Yeah, I don't think they ever said that was exclusive. I think they did.
No, they didn't.
I think they just kept showing it on PC all the time, so no one knew what platform it was going to.
Yeah. It looked good though. Because I remember when we first the official reveal we saw, it looked like ridiculously insanely detailed, right? And then it kind of started to get scaled back a bit when we started seeing more.
It still looks insane, and I think it still will be, but on PC.
Yeah,
I think the scale backs will be the console.
I think that's the illusion cuts. You know what I'm talking about? Like they cut from this one to that one, and it definitely does look like that.
But the level of detail that they've shown, and the animation, and it's all fast paced and great lighting, especially when you do these magic spells and stuff. It looks really, really good.
Particle effects are on point.
Yeah, we actually wanted to play it at Gamescom this year, but
the line was insane.
I bet.
It was really we rushed in on, I think it was on a Thursday or so, because we tried on Wednesday and it was like, okay, you have 12 hours of wait time or something like that. And then we said, okay, first thing in the morning, when they open the gate, we run to that hall and to that booth and play Black Myth first thing in the morning. So we did that, and by the time we arrived, there was already a waiting line saying 6 hours, and we were like, we just got here, dude. They opened the doors 3 minutes ago, right? And it was already a line insanely long.
Wow.
So
around this square booth that they had was 30 PCs, and it was 6 hour wait. We were just nah. That's
nope.
We're not going to do it. But
nah, man, that's crazy.
That is crazy. You know what was one of my highlights, and we haven't talked about that, is No Rest for the Wicked from Moon Studios, the developers of Ori. They're doing an Diablo-like action RPG type of game, in this colorful fairy tale world. And you have tons of creatures, you find treasure, you find loot, and it's coming to all platforms. It's so Xbox, PlayStation, and PC, and it's going into early access in Q1 24 on PC. And honestly, I thought that really looked good. I am a big fan of of the Ori games. I love what they did with the art style. The music in Ori was amazing, and they nailed that. The Metroidvania world building and the movement of Ori was just on point. Like Ori feels so good to play. So yeah, I'm really excited. Have you had a chance to look at that? Did you see that?
Oh yeah, I paid close attention to it. It looked good. I was like, okay. At first, I thought it was Ori, like another Ori in general, but then it didn't when we actually saw the actual character models. Visuals, I mean, it looks like a moving painting.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they stepped up their how it looks. So I got nothing bad to say. I really have nothing bad to say. I like just there was like this like the reason why is mostly because how naturally everything just flew by. And it really didn't feel like there was a bad game in any particular order, if that made sense. Like everything was actually paced very, very well. And I do like what I saw here, but I'm it kind of makes you wonder, like, damn, what else are we gonna get? It's already like I'm pretty sure like y'all already have a backlog as it is.
Yeah.
Now your backlog is getting even more insanely long with just the amount of games you're getting here. And 2023 was insane. I'm very curious to see how 2024 plays out.
I mean, if you look at Q1 24 already, because we really don't have any dates after Q1. We know of a bunch of games coming in 24, someone like Avowed and whatnot. But like the first 3 months, we have dates. Yeah, you get Final Fantasy, you get Suicide Squad. Helldivers is coming. There's like Stalker 2 is coming in Q1. There's really tons of stuff coming already in the first 3 months. So yeah, I think 24 is going to be basically the exact same thing like 23, where you have like back-to-back major releases coming out, and it will be very, very hard to keep up.
Is Stalker 2 legit still on track?
They just this week. This week they released a new story trailer, which actually looked really, really good. And in that trailer, they confirmed Q1 for 2024. So
awesome.
Yeah,
nah, man, they have a lot. They've been facing a lot. That's why I was curious. In regards to that game. So that's awesome that they're still able to put out some updates of some kind for it. So that's good.
Yeah. And I really like that trailer because we've seen Stalker 2 now a couple of times with gameplay. With I actually played it at Gamescom, but we haven't seen much of the story. And that new trailer introduced the story, the antagonist, and everything. And it was like, man, I'm so ready for that. They also announced along with the trailer that it will have multiple endings. I can't really remember. It was like 5 or 6 endings that you can have. Playthrough will take you, main story playthrough, 40 hours. So
that's
good.
Yeah,
I'm really looking forward to that. ABACAB72 sends in a $2 super chat and says the game was a game for impact. And I think he's still referring to our discussion of Chia, whether it won or not. So yeah, man, thanks. That was the one category where
bless you.
Gesundheit. It's what we say. Yeah.
Get better.
Get better. It actually means health. Yeah.
Health.
Yes.
Shouting health at me. Health.
Of course I'm shouting health at you. I want you to be healthy, man. All right. ABCAB72, thank you. That's the category that it is on the very bottom of the list I have here in front of me. So
how did y'all feel about the sweep, so to speak, of awards here? I was very curious about that. Like, so we had a lot of crazy heavy hitters here. We had Capcom celebrating 40 years also at the show. Capcom, listen, look, it's crazy how far Capcom has legit come. it's insane. Like they've had one of the worst years and one of the craziest bounce backs I have ever seen. Like they've been versatile. I did not expect them to announce Monster Hunter anything at this show, and they announced Monster Hunter Wild.
Yes,
Monster Hunter Wild, is that what it's called?
Wildlife. Yeah,
Wildlife, and it's crazy because I was wondering, okay, why is Resident Evil 4 remake being put up here for Game of the Year? And it's like, I see why now, because they had this big announcement in the pipeline.
Yeah.
So strategically wise, you know what I mean? It was to get more eyes on Capcom to go into this, but still, the game that surprised the hell out of me for how many awards it won was actually Alan Wake 2. I'm shocked. This game went from having a lot of backing in the original, and I remember Sam Lake was emotional because he couldn't support a sequel.
Yeah,
only for them to come back in here
and hit very heavy. They won Best Game Direction. They won Best Narrative. They won Best Art Direction.
Art Direction.
Yes, Art Direction, Actor. What else?
Yeah, voice actor, I think, went for Baldur's Gate for...
you're right.
Yeah,
was Baldur's Gate. But yeah, they won a lot of things. Yeah, 3 categories they won.
I don't know about the performance, though. I don't know why we had the performance like that. That performance a little too much.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great game. I would assume halfway through or so far. I haven't finished it yet, but it really is a good game. The atmosphere is incredible. They nailed the gameplay and the switching back and forth in between the two main characters. It really is well-deserved winnings. So yeah. What else was announced? There were a couple of others we haven't touched upon just yet. Dutch, you are probably happy to hear that Skull and Bones finally got a release date.
I forgot all about it. It's like
everyone
forgot all about it. It's like we forgot all about it.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny about that, Dutch?
I was trying to forget all about it, but then they keep shoving it in my face every 2 minutes.
You know what's funny?
I don't care about this game. I've played it and it's terrible. And I feel sorry for anybody in the chat that in the comments of that game that are saying they're so excited for it. Oof. Because, oh sweet summer child, you have not played that game yet, and I can tell because you will not be excited for it when you start playing it. It is, especially if they've kept that opening sequence that I was forced into playing, that alpha/beta. If they keep that story opening sequence the same, you're not even going to get past the first 3 hours without wanting a refund.
God.
It is bad.
It really is bad.
Me to tears. Yeah.
Yeah.
I showed Boxy the stuff. I might have it sitting on the hard drive there as well. It was for internal purposes only for my guys to see.
Yeah.
But my God.
They threw in a sea creature to try to act like there is some.
That's what I was laughing at during the award show. I was like, that is like 70 hours into your game and more.
So they threw this little thing in there, just to add some, to act like there's tension in the game. But I'm like, I could have sworn there was a Kraken.
Yeah.
Where's the Kraken?
Yeah.
Was it removed?
But we all know the gameplay doesn't look like that anyway because the ship combat isn't like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't have this nice visual effect where you see the side of the ship and you're top down when you're in a big ship.
It's sad when Ubisoft is literally outshining you in a game with ships. And mind you, they didn't even go all out with ships with Black Flag, That was just kind of like an extension of the gameplay. But that simple concept is actually putting you to shame.
And even in Origins, they had great naval battles and so on. So you would have thought, okay, they nailed that aspect, but no.
Yeah. Sad.
It is sad. You know what isn't
just
sad?
The paint numbers, looter, generic. It's not even entertaining looting. It's catch me a fish. Go and get this cloth out of the water and get this thing, and then repair your ship. Your little raft.
Yeah.
Go to this island and make me a hammer. What?
Was there destructibility in the game? I didn't even see it.
No.
No.
Oh, well.
There's it really. They should have just canceled that and do something else.
That was called what was it called? The Sea of Thieves killer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sea of Thieves has went through
as if
multiple things since then and has actually succeeded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Square Enix announced something I'm really excited about, and that is Visions of Mana.
The Mana series returns.
The Mana, after 15 years, that's the first new game in the series. After 15 years, it will come out next year on everything, PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. And man, I thought it looked fantastic. Like,
yeah,
I love the Mana series. I started, of course, on the Super Nintendo with Secret of Mana.
Yeah.
It was such an awesome game. I loved it. It was the Super Nintendo only had like 2 controller support, and there was like this adapter in the box that you could plug in because you were able to play it with 3 people co-op on a console. That was like revolutionary at the time, and to this day I love the Mana series. They are fantastic games. Still think it's kind of sad that Xbox gamers missed out on the pixel remaster thing, and now this is 3D. It's not like this bird view top down 2D pixelated game. It's a 3D, but it has like everything in that the Mana series is known for. From the enemies that look kind of familiar but also new. The spell system and everything. It is like it looks so awesome. I'm super excited. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to see a new Mana game, so I'm hyped. Looks great.
Yeah, looks solid.
I was just thinking of you and Vinny basically as soon as I seen it, because I know you and Vinny love the Mana series, and
yeah,
I was like, yeah, I'm hyped for that. Bring it on.
How'd y'all feel of was it Rise of Ronin? How'd y'all feel about that? Finally seeing that again.
I was a little underwhelmed, honestly. I remembered that game showing better the first time, and this time it looked a little clunky.
It was definitely choppy, like when he was in the air in certain parts of the gameplay. But I'm getting Neo vibes, like the animations, like you know what I mean, like the way he moves the sword. Getting that, it looks good. At first, I was thinking they was doing like a surprise at you, because like it looked like the character kind of looked like Jin Sakai for a second without his armor. I was like, wait, is that Jin? Like, oh no, it's not. So I have to wait for a state of play apparently for that to see something like that. But I liked it though. I thought it looks good. I just. I kind of want a little bit more of a crazy wild, you know what I mean, like that wild card announcement there on PlayStation side.
Yeah, that's true.
It was good.
The No Man's Skies developer Hello Games showed off a new game, Light No Fire.
Yes,
it's an open world online multiplayer game, as you would expect from them. What do you think about that?
Extremely ambitious. He knows it's extremely ambitious. It's an entire planet that's randomly generated, that you can fully explore with no holds.
Yeah.
It's been in development for 5 years. It looks cool. It looks like it's got fantasy and combat in there, but I don't know how the combat's going to be, because when you do these big MMO type things, the combat's usually quite clunky.
Yep.
But it had dragons, so I'm in.
I like you just said, he's ambitious. He talks a good game, but usually it takes a few years for the game to translate into what he's saying. So I don't know, man. And that's from what we learned from No Man's Sky.
We hope he's learned his lesson from No Man's Sky in this case, and he doesn't release it until it's ready to release.
Yeah,
I agree. So this announcement, ironically, you're showing it on the stream. I forgot about this. This announcement actually got me a little excited, because I'm a big Dino Crisis fan. I'm a big Dino Crisis fan. This kind of brought back the horror vibe of Jurassic Park, and I was like, wait, tell me
Well-
this is what exactly this is going to be, because this
Yeah.
looks awesome.
They've taken they said the horror elements from Alien Isolation into this game.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they've said that it's an inspiration.
Oh, that is awesome. I can't wait. That's all I need to hear. It
Yeah.
looks
Yeah.
awesome. Like, I love the cues, the like, I like how this trailer is like showing you, like they didn't forget anything. Like, there's a raptor that's in the freezer. There's the Dilophosaurus that's like running around that killed Nedry. There's the T-Rex.
The game is based just after Jurassic Park 1.
Yeah.
The film.
That is
I think
awesome.
it's literally like, it looks exactly like the night they got away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, look, like
She might be
the
like,
next day.
I wonder if it's she was like left on the island and people didn't realize she was there or something like that.
Yeah,
just like-
because there was a lot of staff that wasn't really talked about, like engine. Like, maybe she fell asleep at the facility and woke up. It was a nightmare, and it's like, oh my god, like everything's went to hell, and she has to get off the island.
Yeah.
It looks good though.
It
I can't
really
wait to play
does. It really does. Like you guys said, it's been way too long since we had like horror dino games, dinosaur
Yeah.
games, and no, this one looked fantastic, but we haven't had seen or gotten a release window, right? We don't know when.
Yeah, they just gave you snippets of, like, I guess, like those encounter like sections, like those little
Yeah.
close counter like horror section. They gave you that, but they didn't give you a release date. I would hope next year, but something tells me this is probably a Blade type of situation, or maybe a little bit
a little bit
further
more
along than Blade.
because they've shown
by
at
gameplay.
least small snippets of gameplay. So
probably like 2 years
25
out.
maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, this is probably 2 years out.
Yeah.
But I look forward to seeing it though. It looks insane, and
Yes.
hopefully, if it does well, and this is my fingers are crossed, Dutch. If it does well, this gives Capcom all the ammunition they need to finally give us Dino Crisis. That's all I want.
Yeah.
I just want Dino Crisis. They've over delivered with Resident Evil, and I'm loving what they do in Resident Evil. But I would love to see that same type of detail and just a ridiculous Dino Crisis game. Like, it would be insane if we get that. So
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Me
But
too.
no, it was solid. Solid announcements.
Definitely. We also got a fresh look at Suicide Squad.
Uh,
How are we feeling about that?
The only thing I will say about that, I'm sad that this is Kevin Conroy's final performance as Batman.
As Batman.
This is his final performance, and this is the final.
You know
game that he
what
will
is
be
even
in.
sadder? That Mark Hamill said that he's only going to do the Joker again if Kevin is gonna voice Batman.
And he said that on Twitter, like he'll never play it again unless that's
Because-
never gonna happen.
That was the best Joker ever.
Yeah, that was his like best friend, his partner in crime when it came
Yeah.
to tackling these Batman games. Like their like chemistry really made those games even more great. And
Absolutely.
the fact that Kevin is no longer here, it's unfortunate.
Yes.
Now, I mean, you could still get Joker, but it'd be like, I remember Arkham Origins. Remember how I think it was what was it? Troy Baker did the voice for Joker in that one.
No,
he did that.
Troy did Batman in that game, right?
Was it him? No, I thought he did.
Can't
Joker.
remember.
Somebody did Joker. I could swear it was him who did.
Maybe
Joker.
someone in the chat knows, so let us know. But yeah, actually, I like what I've seen so far from Suicide Squad. It's not a Batman game. It's not an Arkham game. It's colorful. It has a lot of humor in it, but it looks like a fun game to play. I'm looking forward to it. I don't care for the live service aspects, but again, if I can play that game.
My only problem with it is that there's just so much coming out that it doesn't even get a look in.
That's true.
I might play it at some point, but it's like so far back on the list of games that I'm going to be playing.
But it comes out at a good time because it comes out like February 2nd. And the other heavy hitters of early next year are not due to end of February. February 29th is Rebirth, and Stalker 2 is probably, my guess would be March. But so I think, yeah, it could do well.
You know what it is? Like, I'm guessing maybe because the movie spoiled me a little bit. The Suicide Squad movies, like, because you know how vicious King Shark is. He can rip people in half.
Yeah.
I would have loved to see something like that. Like some more gory, over the topness in that type of aspect. But
I mean,
it just feels like you're just jumping up. It kind of gives you that weird vibe in terms of like, I remember Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
That game.
Yeah,
flying
that was
around.
awesome.
Yeah. You're kind of getting like their own little spin on that. Like you're flying in the air, you're doing all this, and you're just shooting stuff. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. It just doesn't translate that well to me. But it looks good. I will give them that. It does look good, but I don't know.
It does look good. I'm looking forward to it. I don't care for the games as a service aspect. Yeah.
I'm gonna get it later on when it's on discount.
Yeah. Well, they said they said they're bringing out an offline mode after launch. So
yes,
I'll play the offline mode.
Not a fan of that.
All right, but
yeah.
I think we pretty much covered all the announcements, right? Did I miss something, or did we miss
Final
something?
Fantasy VII Rebirth got a new trailer.
We
had Exodus with Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, we talked about that.
What else? There was quite a few.
The First Descendant. Right.
Yes.
The First Descendant got a release, summer 24 release window.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that? It's that third-person looter shooter game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't super. Yeah, I wasn't super excited about it. So
I think because I was still getting over the Sega announcement, that it kind of just went over my head. I didn't really care about that one as much because I remember they announced Space Marine, something for Space Marine too, as well.
Yeah,
they were showing out that collector's edition, and I was like, don't really care for that. But it's like it looks good, but I don't really care.
Yeah.
For right now, I've already seen it.
A couple of other ones. Banishers got a release date. Space Marine 2 got a release date, and then we had an indie game called Tales of Kenzera Zao.
Yeah.
Which
one was
the platforming game. That was a platforming one with the guy who came on and did that nice speech and was like, again, rudely interrupted by Jeff and tried to force him off the stage in the middle of introducing it.
Yeah, that was oof, I don't know what was going on there. Like I get the whole you got to give them the warning, hey guys, listen, speed it along, but playing the music so loud where you can barely hear them in the middle of like certain details of their speech, like certain talk about a game. I'm like, this is a celebration of games. You have legends here, left and right, and they're here to share announcements, but also give you announcements. You might want to give them a little more time than this, but again, Shuhei Yoshida, or not Shuhei Yoshida, but Hideo Kojima. I guess there's no time limit for Kojima. It was cool to see Ikumai Nakamura come back to the stage, and she announced her new game. It starts with a K. Was it Kalisi or something? No. I forgot what it was called. Kasumi? Something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
But that's her new game she showed. Hopefully she gets to actually release this, because the last time she was on stage at anything in regards to hyping up a game, she was talking about Ghostwire Tokyo, but she left the studio. She never got a chance to release Ghostwire Tokyo. So hopefully she actually gets to release this one in general. I'm actually hopeful she gets that.
There's a couple of other ones as well. We had the Life is Strange guys with Lost Records, Bloom and Rage.
Yep.
We also had the first Berserker, Kazan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also had the casting of Frank Stone, which is by Supermassive, and they're doing a single player horror game.
Horror game, yeah, it's horror. I was happy to see their name, but I'm like, God, can we just give them another budget so we can get a part 2 to Until Dawn or something similar to Until Dawn?
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of games, like those Man and Me Den games that try to replicate what was done with Until Dawn, I feel like they just fall short. I feel like they just had something special with what they were doing with Until Dawn. It sucks. It sucks not to see it.
Until Dawn was such a great game.
It was,
had a great cast.
I loved watching people play through that and like all the different possibilities people were getting, and like how the characters getting murdered in different ways.
Don't say
yeah.
too many of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, like one
it's
little.
hard
Like,
to be fair, because you don't you
Yeah.
think you're going to, and then they just die in a horrific way because you accidentally miss a prompt, like at
Yes.
like
Yeah,
0
like
point
hitting the light
2 second
switch.
prompt, like no, and then he falls down an elevator shaft. You're like, oh
Yeah.
god.
Yeah, like at the
Oh.
ending, like the trick is for the ending, like to get everybody alive. You're not with all in the house. You have to like stand still. You can't do nothing until everybody's safely out the building.
Mhm.
Otherwise, if you run, hit the switch, just kill everybody. It's like dude, it was so funny. Like I love that about it. Though. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, this is insane.
All
It's so
right.
funny.
So, yeah, let's move on a little bit from the Game Awards because there were a couple of other awesome things announced this week. And I mean, the big one is, of course, GTA 6 got its first trailer. Broke records left and right. Yeah. 60 million views in 12 hours. And more than 100.
Yeah, oh no, I was gonna say it had over 22 million views in just 2 hours on being on the site, and it got leaked earlier.
Yes,
that's the wild part.
That's the really wild part. After GTA suffering already from these big leaks, like when was that, a year ago or so?
Yep.
Again, the trailer leaked. Rockstar released it earlier, and some of the developers actually came out talking about this. Yeah. I got one tweet here says, this fucking sucks. I was hoping to watch this with my fellow teammates, and I can totally understand that. Those kind of leaks really do suck. These studios work hard. Those reveals are an event, not just for the marketing team, but I think like what you do is as a group of developers, you come together, you want to see the reactions online, and then someone willy-nilly drops that on the internet, leaks it. The company decided to release the trailer earlier than they anticipated, and you kind of ruin it for those people. But yeah, guys, what do we think about GTA 6? GTA is back, 25 release.
So for a game that was said to be 10 years in development, it looked like a game that was in 10 years in development. This looks like something that's running on not PS5. It looks like something that's running on PS6 and Xbox, the next one. That's how good it looks. This is what I'm talking about, like how insane, like, you know, you just push in the next gen consoles. That's what I've been wanting. And that is the top tier of everything they've done. The character models, I love the diversity of what they've done here. Like beforehand, like you can kind of tell, like, yeah, like the places would be populated, but like it's usually like the same character model. They'll just like a different face on it. There were multiple different character models in this game, and it's diverse, like all across, and they're walking around normally in the world. You have that happening in real time. You have those crazy drone shots. You see that, you know, we are in Miami and it's Vice City, but you're getting more islands on top of this, more to explore. It looks insane. Like I was absolutely blown away by it. And even the main characters, you know, I was a little worried about, like, because they were talking about prior how they were abandoning the frat boy mindset that kind of made them what they were. They was like, I guess that was an April Fool's joke. They was like, no, we're not. We're just joking with y'all. We're here. So it was top tier.
Absolutely, man. Like you said, with the main characters, we knew that there were at least 2 from the leaks earlier. But yeah, it looks like they're going for that Bonnie and Clyde, you know, kind of thing, and I love that. It like you said, it looks phenomenal. I mean, Rockstar always killed it with the level of detail that they put in their games. To this day, I mean, Red Dead 2 is now 5 years old. When did it came out? 2018 or 19?
I think it was 18.
So 5 years old, and it still looks like if you would release that game today, it would still be one of the best looking games out there. Like the level of detail that they put in, and they continue that with GTA 6. I mean, there were so many shots in that trailer where I thought, like, holy smokes, if you get that running, And no way that this game is going to run on the current gen consoles at 60. That's a 30 FPS game, but even that,
Yeah.
like the beat shot, with all the NPCs there and the water physics in parallel and everything. It looks exactly what I was hoping for, and I really, really cannot wait. That's what did you think?
Yeah, exactly the same. To be fair, I was hoping they would utilize what they'd learned from Red Dead 2 and put it into this, and they have. Specifically, the lighting, and I think as well, the lighting in some areas, really shows what they've learned from Red Dead 2, and the fidelity and the lighting has actually translated over to the new GTA. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing what the Bonnie and Clyde story is going to be like. This whole heist team that they've got go on there. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting, but it looks fantastic. I did watch Digital Foundry's breakdown on it as well, and said outside of like the TikTok-y bits that are pre-rendered, everything else is absolutely real time. You can tell by the anti-aliasing and the hair and things like that. So, it looks good. I'm just looking to now see how it looks when it's playing, because we know GTA 5. We've played GTA 5. It's still clunky as hell to play the characters.
Yeah, controls are.
I mean, it's a 12-year-old game, right? So
but even still, it was like even still, you know what I mean, though. We still want the ragdoll physics in there because they're bloody hilarious, but you'd need them to be improved like over that, and that's what I'm waiting for now. I just want to see what those look like.
Yeah, you want snappier controls. Like that was in Red Dead 2 as well. Like when you press like left, it takes like a few seconds for left to actually trigger with your character, and he moves. I hate floaty controls like that. This is contributed to why when you're like running away from the cops in Red Dead, when you're on horseback, you're running into the trees.
Yeah,
I remember that y'all run the trees a lot in the game.
Yeah.
So this was something that definitely needed to be improved. But just to add on, like what you said, the lighting and everything, I can't get over that. It's taking this long, but at the same time, a lot of people are bringing up the GTA Online. I don't expect that to be there at launch. I expect it to be a little later, but it is one thing to take for account, or one thing to take into account. Sorry, is that when this game does drop, you're not going to see GTA 7 until another 10 years. So that is true. I do believe that they're definitely going to carry the same formula over, but it makes you wonder: are we going to get Bully 2? Are they actually going to go full out and give you Bully 2 and all that stuff? I don't think they are.
Bully is a dead IP. I don't see them.
It was in their catalog, supposedly, games they were going to do. It was Bully 2, LA Noire 2, and something for Red Dead 2 in terms of like expansion, supposedly, or was it part 3? I think it was part 3, which is Sadie Adler. Yeah, it was Sadie Adler and John's son, and that would be the final one in that series. So who knows?
I think Red Dead 3 is a given that is going to happen next after GTA 6. I don't think Bully is coming back. I'm not sure about LA Noire. What I could see them do is revisiting Max Payne, because they've licensed out Max Payne 1 and 2 back to Remedy. Exactly. They're making that full-fledged remake where they melt both parts in one game. And depending on how that is doing and how good or well Max Payne is going to be received again, I could see them come back to do another Max Payne. But I think, given how big or how much effort is put into making a Red Dead and a GTA, I just expect them to go back and forth in between the two, honestly. Going forward. So, but GTA, it really does. I'm not sure about the online thing you said, because GTA Online was so successful for them, and not having that at launch, I'm really not sure.
GTA Online wasn't available at launch for 5. It came a little later, so that's what I'm saying. Like I do think it would absolutely Probably because, and the reason why, and again, it wouldn't really be that detrimental or hurt the game in my honest opinion, because the game is so massive as it is. There's so much to do in the single player aspect, so they'll have plenty of time to give you it. But they have to get all those all the issues out, because this thing is going to be buggy when they get to the multiplayer side. There's going to be a lot of bugs in this, like they
definitely,
did with the original.
Definitely,
and everybody's going to be waiting even longer for the heist, unless they have the heist already done, and they just have to make sure it actually works. Day one for the game. It's going to take a minute for that, but I do really hope they just knock it out the park in terms of like the heist even further in this game. It's crazy. It's crazy that we finally here, but I do hope they just deliver on those aspects.
I would assume so. I mean, at the end, has Rockstar ever like disappointed when it comes to their game releases? I think they just know what to pay attention
to. With Red Dead 2, because Red Dead 2 didn't, in my understanding, didn't need Red Dead Online. I think that was the waste of talent, a waste of time. I didn't think it needed that. They could have just did an expansion for more content. They really wanted to push more for Red Dead 2, but they wanted to replicate what was done in GTA Online. And Red Dead 2. You know, instead of you paying for shark cards, you're paying for gold bars, and you can buy, basic stuff. It's like, nah, they did a little too much for that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, we shall see. We shall see 25 release. So basically, Game of the Year for 25 is already announced.
I mean, it's Game of the Gen. Let's call it that. It's gonna be Game of the Gen.
Yeah, definitely. So what else happened this week? Man, since we have you on the show, that's perfect. As being our Sony expert, we heard about a couple of things going on over at Bungie this week. I'm sure you have heard about that. Bungie is reportedly under threat, so that Sony could take over the complete control of the company if they don't meet the financial targets.
Yep.
So, what's happening over there? Let us know.
Bungie overestimated their value. That's number one, and or should I say, they overvalued themselves in terms of like what they were going to do. You gotta be smart about the market. You might have a few years, you might do good, but you can always have that drought. In this particular case, for Bungie, they overshot themselves. As far as like the cost, like in the contract where it said Sony would actually get full control, I'm shocked they even put themselves in that situation to begin with. You would think they would avoid that altogether, but it looks like no. Sony legit was like, listen, this is a loan. If you don't pay back this loan and then some with interest, we taking everything you got. And it's crazy because if you think about it, Sony was like had them high up in terms of like overseeing so much within the company in terms of like their games as a service module, right? Where Jim Ryan was actually there. I mean, he's still, well, technically he's leaving, but in the midst of him being there, they were overseeing their games as a service module. And they literally are the reason why Factions 2 is not coming. That got pushed back. And then you hear reports saying that, they're abandoning the games as a service model. They're falling back on certain things they said. And then here we are now, and it's like, well, yeah, about that. Bungie might not have no control over anything, and it might just go flat out into this. Honestly, if it does end up happening and Sony does take full control of them, I mean, it just goes back to that conversation we had multiple times in regards to Marathon. Marathon is more likely going to be exclusive to PlayStation. They're going to use that to probably combat the whole Call of Duty fiasco, because Call of Duty in 2025, the Game Pass situation, it will now officially be available on the Game Pass. In 2024, the rights are gone. They're no longer there for PlayStation in terms of market it. So Microsoft will use that as their Game Pass pusher and platform pusher. So that's more likely what's going to happen with PlayStation. They're going to use Marathon and more likely Destiny 3 when we get there to be their main multiplayer focused games. And does that mean that like what's that game? Does that mean like Killzone's gonna come out? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Like Sony's been acting real weird when it comes to messaging and it's really been killing.
They don't have
how
any.
weird they've been acting.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
They don't have
it's
any
really
messaging
weird.
at all right now, which is super weird. And
like certain aspects, resources being allocated to things that I didn't think they would absolutely even bother with. Like if you look at like how people are reacting to the PlayStation Portal, a lot of people are giving that thing a pass because they just simply want a handheld. And we said this multiple times. If that was a dedicated handheld that can do XYZ, your PS5 can do just on the go, it would have been 5 times better. And that's like the biggest complaint everybody has who has actually reviewed this. I've got his name, but he got sent the product for free. And I'm thinking this dude's going to legit shield this thing. He legit ripped the damn thing to shreds, like in terms of what it can do and what it can't do. And, you know, and one thing that blew my mind, and I'm surprised a lot of these reviewers didn't bring up, was the fact that, you know, like when you guys go to hotels and you have to like, they use their Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Remember how like it takes you to like a web browser and you have to agree to the agreement?
Yes.
You can't do that on the portal. There's no browser to do that on the portal.
Really?
Yeah.
No
you can't do that
browser.
on the portal. No. So
so
it's like you have a dead paperweight. Is basically what I'm saying. You know what I mean, you need a Wi-Fi hotspot of some sorts to get this. It's like
I mean,
I don't like that.
We've been saying that as well. It doesn't really make sense to have that portable because you can only use it in your own Wi-Fi at home because you have to have the PlayStation 5 in the same local network. So even if you bring your portable to a hotel, what would you connect to? You don't have the PS5 with you. You're right. It doesn't support cloud streaming.
It's like not at launch they said, but it's coming later. But it's like these are things you would think you would have day one in your box, especially when you're already advertising cloud streaming.
Yeah, exactly.
The people who are against cloud streaming now saying, "Look how seamless it is! I don't have to download the game. This is fantastic." You know, you have the bad actors hyping that up now. It's funny, like people just don't pay attention to this sort of thing, and then they think, okay, you're talking bad about it because you quote unquote just want to hate on it. It's like, no, it's legit concerns. It should be. These are things that should have already been thought out. I shouldn't have to think about this type of stuff or have this stuff in my mind. You know, this already should have been done.
In the year 2023, almost 24, you simply expect certain things of certain devices. But to your original point, I mean about messaging of Sony. I totally agree.
On Xbox.
They confirmed that it's multi-plat, right?
I missed that, but still, hypothetically, like
but I do agree. If they take over the entire company, the way Sony acts right now or behaves right now, it's easy to take it away, you know. I don't know. Jim left without any messaging towards the fan base. We still don't know who's going to be his successor. Then we had the layoffs, people leaving, a lot of delays, which are just announced through the investors call. This was all we got during the investors call, that they delayed half of their planned games as a service titles into the fiscal year, whatever, 26 or what it was.
Instead of releasing 10, they're going to release 6 or something like that. It's going to be like
so
prolonged or like strategically placed or something like that.
It's really so. I do totally agree that the messaging around everything happening right there, not having like a proper roadmap. We still don't know anything from first party coming outside of like Wolverine. It's
and that's crazy because it's like Wolverine is tied to the same studio. They just gave you a fantastic superhero game again, and that's
exactly
Spider-Man. And it's like, this is what I'm talking about. It's like, why is it that Insomniac Games is the only one giving me updates on games and releases on games?
Yes.
Naughty Dog, with all the time they've had in the midst of all this, could have given you something new, but they instead have just released the same 2 games multiple times. And keep in mind, Last of Us Part 2 Remastered is not coming to PC.
Yeah.
So going by their track record, don't you think a remake is coming for PC? Think about that.
Yeah.
That is the scary. That is the
Um,
scary thing about it. And that's what like it angers me. It's like, why?
Yeah.
Why? Like, why am I keep seeing the same game? I don't even care anymore. I'm just like I'm burnt out of just seeing the same Last of
The
Us
same.
title. I don't want to see it.
They've
But,
released more remakes and remasters of Last of Us than actual Last of Us games, you know?
Yeah. It's like most of the stuff that's released from the other studios were ports from PS4.
yeah.
I just put it like that. They're PS4 ports. Like, you know, Returnal was like the last new one, but that was from House Marquee, and they haven't even announced their new game, or if they are, you know, whatever game they are working on. Jade Raymond's game, aka was it something pay fair. It's that game. It's that, you know, that Fair Games. Her game, Fair Games, we still haven't seen anything else for her. We don't know when that's legit going to come. And that was supposed to going to be games as a service too. Correct?
Yes.
We don't know what's going to happen.
I have no idea. Yeah.
So it's like
it's like totally weird. And it's the same thing about Bungie. I mean, I think like Destiny had its time. It probably would make sense to like. I mean, Destiny 2. How old is that now? 6-7 years. That's already like a pretty lengthy time. Yeah, not every game is a World of Warcraft that lasts for 20 years. That's just the normal things. And I'm not taking away anything from Destiny 2. I actually really enjoyed Destiny 2, but yeah. Even with, and I usually always come back to Destiny once they drop like an expansion, play through the new campaign, do some strikes, do a raid, and then
new content,
and then at some point I just wait for the next add-on. But yeah, even I didn't come back for the last one. You know, I don't know. The time's over. It's time for a new Destiny 3. But since that's not on the horizon, I don't know how long you can drag out the games as a service title, and so
it has to be
like you
good.
said, Bungie probably, yeah, exactly, and Bungie is probably, with its almost 3 billion that Sony paid for them, simply too much. That's not the company's.
The wild part, you would think
value.
that budget would have gone to Insomniac Games. Insomniac Games was only $250 million. That is the craziest deal I have ever seen in the history of gaming. Just how much that team has provided you in terms of just revenue that you're generating just from these games by itself. And to go back what we were saying about content, look at Fortnite. I'm not a Fortnite guy. I just never got into Fortnite. I could never get into Fortnite. But I can't deny what Fortnite has done. Like, they just had that crazy Eminem concert. They had that crazy transition where they were showing the rocket racing. They were showing the Legos. They were showing the Eminem live performance. Like, all that stuff. It blows my mind that game has done so much in this time frame, and yet that game still didn't even win anything at the Game Awards. Like, that should have won Best Ongoing Game.
I agree.
At the Game Awards, it got robbed. Like, it went to Cyberpunk. How is Cyberpunk an ongoing game?
I have no idea.
That's not even an ongoing game.
We said that
it's got one DLC.
That's exactly what we said in the beginning of the show, because if you consider DLC to be ongoing game, like, you could nominate literally every game, any game.
Right.
Like Resident Evil 4 got a DLC this year. So is that
an
ongoing? I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
I don't understand that. It didn't make any sense to me whatsoever. That was the biggest robbery. Period. Point blank. Period. Like, I can understand if there's somebody on the board that probably doesn't like Fortnite, that's fine. But you cannot deny that game's success.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You cannot deny it. Like, I can say I hate Call of Duty. Am I going to sit here and knock their success? No, I can't knock their success. What they've done industry wise, that's just what it is.
Yeah.
But
agreed.
That just goes to show, like, it's crazy, like, what people want versus what we're getting, and I don't even know what to say at that point. They got me.
I agree.
They got me.
I agree.
Completely.
All right. So yeah, we don't know what happens over there with Bungie. I have my only concern is like it's going to be similar like a BioWare situation, where BioWare got bought by EA. EA had super high expectations, and at the first point of not being able to meet those exactly, then they cut them in funding. A lot of the people left, the staff left, and that's the thing. The studio is not the name. It's not the IP that they have. It's the developers that make the game. That is your asset in a studio, you know. And if you
Visceral Games. Prime example, this EA, Visceral Games. Exactly. We love Visceral Games, but guess what? Visceral Games is now scattered among many other different teams around the world right now. They're not even the same team. Yeah. And a lot of people had high hopes for the Callisto Protocol. I had high hopes for the Callisto Protocol. Same here. You know, I'm thinking they were all coming back together, and you can clearly tell that half the talent, or probably a quarter of the talent, worked on this from the original, and it just didn't translate into the game that you wanted. And this goes to show, like, you know, these games do hurt when you take the heart and soul out of the game. Exactly. And that is the developers. Yeah. So I agree.
All right. Good stuff. So I don't know where Dutch is gone.
Dutch had a headache, so you said Skull and Bones, so he had the nice.
All right. Yeah, man. I think we pretty much covered the news of the week. I mean, the most important news definitely came out of the Game Awards. But I do want to take a few minutes, if you have them left, to answer some community questions.
That's good.
Because usually our community writes in on Wednesdays. This week they did it throughout the week because we are on a Saturday now. But Such and Sentinel Gaming writes in and asks, do you think the Bungie situation will result in a mass exodus of the devs? I mean, we just covered... we kind of just answered that. Certainly a concern. And Sith Lord writes in and asks, Christmas is around the corner. What do you guys ask Santa for?
I mean, I'm kind of, my fingers are crossed. Fingers are crossed for Jurassic Park Survivor in terms of what it does. But I hope that is the Dino Crisis that I want. I hope that's the closer we get. But I do want Dino Crisis.
Yeah, nice. I ask Santa for something that probably is not going to happen, and that is I want the mid-gen refresh consoles, like the Pro versions. I know PS5 is getting one, but I also want one from Xbox. So that would be my wish.
I think they are going to get them, to be honest. I think Microsoft's keeping that one close to the chest. I think that mid-gen refresh that we were going to get that was going to be streaming only is more than likely going to get buffed into a Pro, because
that wasn't streaming only. It was digital only. It didn't have digital only.
Digital. Yeah. But that one was, I do believe something of that sorts is still happening, but I do believe you're going to get a Pro unit because for GTA 6. I just think they're probably going to need the extra horsepower for GTA 6. And they know there's a lot of people who will buy the next gen consoles just for GTA 6 to get that extra power boost. And that will be prolonging the gen for whatever long it is until they eventually get the 7 and then, and 6 and all that stuff. So that's what I say.
I think since Tom Henderson has been pretty spot on with his Sony leaks, and he also leaked the PS5 Pro, I guess that's more or less a given that we will get that. I'm not sure about Xbox.
I think it'd be a missed opportunity if they don't.
I agree. I agree. I really want them to do one, but I'm really not sure. They kind of struggle with their hardware department. When you look at the supplies and demand issue, Xbox is still pretty hard to get at in some markets, especially the Series X. While Sony basically has overcome those issues that were still coming from the pandemic. So availability is kind of weird on that regard. Then also, what would you kind of position this in? Would you do a mid-gen upgrade also for the Series S? Would they do it for both or only for one? Where do you go with that? I'm not sure really about Xbox doing one. I would love them to do. I also think it would be, can you imagine like going for the rest of the generation, like Xbox losing every Digital Foundry comparison to PlayStation because they don't
that's
have
why
a
I
pro.
think they don't want that. Yeah, I don't think they want that
Like-
type of PR disaster because they legit they made that like their main focus last year. They didn't want that PR. They wanted to have like those comparisons out. So I do think it's gonna start off like that, like maybe like the first 2 years of PS5 Pro being out, and then you'll see Xbox Series Elite being mentioned or talked about or released. I think that might just be the case. I don't think they'll do it unless they're gonna immediately try to like immediately say, hey, listen, our next Xbox, you know what I mean? Like is here, and they just skip it all together and do that and just go immediately to the next Xbox and then try to do like what they did with the 360. You know, they get out there first, they get all their hardware ready, get everything out there, and then their deals, and then maybe
that's the rumor
it's
right
possible.
now that they are going to start next gen earlier and therefore not doing a mid-gen upgrade. I mean, that's a possibility. I'm still not sure if it would be wise in this time and age, because with the 360 days it was a little different. I mean, listen, the market the gaming industry was very different in 2005 than it is.
Yeah, it wasn't as volatile. It was kind of like super stable. It was like open to really any possibility type of thing.
Exactly. And now if you launch the console, let's say a year or two earlier than the PS6, then you would also like go through the entire generation of being like the weaker console because you launched 1 or 2 years earlier. So I'm not sure if that's really going to happen. So yeah, it's weird to see where Xbox is going to position themselves in there. But yeah, Dutch, we are at the community questions, and welcome back. And I hope you do enjoy your yogurt or whatever you got there.
It's a protein pudding.
Protein pudding.
Coffee flavored.
Oh no.
All right. Community question: what you asking Santa for this year?
I don't know. It's coming out of my wallet, whatever it is. I'm not asking Santa for anything. I'm a luxurious position where I get what I want, so it's all. I just buy it. Right. Avatar was I might get Alan Wake 2. I don't know. Haven't decided yet.
Yeah, you might as well get Alan Wake 2. That's the game or Baldur's Gate if you haven't played Baldur's Gate.
Yeah. You should. I'm trying to convince him, man, but you know he doesn't like to roll dice. So,
I mean, he's not the only one. Like, I haven't played it either, but everybody keeps telling him, like, bro, just get Baldur's Gate. So
you should.
I mean,
definitely. Listen, I do
get maybe if it goes on sale, but there's no way I'm paying 70 quid for it.
I agree. Not every game I feel like is worth 70.
No.
I do understand that. Waller Weezer writes in, on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for Visions of Mana?
7. It's been a long time since I've played it, and it's a whole new type of Mana game now. It's a big open world, vast 3D. It's not the pixel game we remember.
No, it's not. So
we've got to hope that this new vision for Visions of Mana, pardon the pun, is on point, and when we play it brings back the right feels. So about 7 at the minute. I've some natural concerns on how this new team's handling the game.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
We shall see.
What's your scale for in terms of anticipation for Jet Set Radio Future?
Oh,
yeah.
I would say probably an 8. If you would ask me about Streets of Rage, I would definitely put a 9 or 10.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been way too long since I played
even Golden Axe. I would put up there as well. I would put with Golden Axe.
Golden Axe, yeah.
A 9 or a 10.
Yeah.
Speaking of Golden Axe, what did this like the success of this leads to? Like Golden Eye and all these other classics that we played back then getting the same treatment just down the road. Because we still waiting for what was it? What's that? IO Interactive to make the 007 game.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm really I'm loving with the way everybody's reacting to a lot of these, especially the older games too, because we grew up with arcades. So the House of the Deads were our go-to back then. I'm wondering, will we get those again? We got VR headsets, guys.
And Time Crisis.
Time
Bring
Crisis.
back Time Crisis.
Exactly.
Yeah.
These are moments where I would like to see those games come back, because a lot of people question, like, okay, what games they're gonna make for VR? It's like, bro, they're a plethora. Just look at the arcade cabinets that we played. We had special controllers for. All you gotta do is go down that route, and boom, you got your answer right there. So, a lot of people think Beat Saber is the only way to play VR. No, no, there's tons.
There's tons of stuff. That's true. All right, gentlemen. With that, I would say we can wrap this show up. It has been a blast. BitCloud, thank you so much for jumping in here spontaneously and unannounced. It's always awesome to have you on the show. So thanks so much for coming on, and let everyone know where they can find you and what you're working on, man.
Yeah, no, it was. It's always good to hang out with my brothers, talk about some gaming. Game Awards was great. We all had our thoughts going into the show, so that's the cool thing about it. And I was very, very just happy that we finally got a show that was just worth the wait. We all had something good to say about it. Usually it's one-sided in a sense. I felt like at times when we go into these shows, and there's not really a lot for everybody. You know what I mean? Like we'll mostly talk
last year Xbox wasn't there at all.
Yeah. So the fact that they were here and they had a good showing, hopefully, like you would think, like, listen, I hate social media, but I love social media because I love the hypocrisy that comes with social media. So it was funny seeing a lot of people who were saying, like, oh, Microsoft's not going to be this, that, and the third. And here they go and show you that they're not going nowhere. They're fine. They're doing just fine. They will be fine. But of course, that falls on deaf ears for them. They think it's XYZ. So that's what it is. But I loved it though. I loved just seeing the excitement for a change. And I can't wait to see what else happens, especially going into next year and onward. But if you guys want to find me, it's BitCloud Gaming, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. I think I'm 3 subs away from 10,500.
Ooh, nice. So come on, guys, in the chat. We definitely have to help him out here.
Yeah. That's my link to there. And I can't wait as well I can't believe I'm saying this because I was so I feel like I was so optimistic, right? Like with you guys when I was talking about it. But now that I've seen it, I can't wait now even further. But I'm a little worried, or I'm a little upset if we didn't get the release date. But Hellblade 2, I love the first game. I cannot wait to see get the final product after what we saw.
Yeah,
it looks incredible.
Same.
So, but no, that's it.
All right.
Great show.
Absolutely. No, again, thanks for coming on. Again, it's always a blast. So with you. But Dutch, please let everyone know what you're working on, man. I know you've got a stream coming up right now.
Yeah, I was going to, but these lights are hurting my eyes, which is why I stepped away for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, it looks good, man. Like it.
Yeah, apart from these 2 fucking spotlights right here. So yeah, I'm gonna have a break from streaming tonight, but I'm still gonna be playing some Xbox. So back on Monday with a stream doing Final Fantasy 16, playing through that, finishing it, getting to the point where I can play the DLC because the DLC occurs before you get to the end of the game. So I'll get to that point, play the sections I need, and play the DLC. But I'll be streaming that. And Tuesday we'll be streaming Cyberpunk. Wednesday back with a podcast as usual. We'll be covering the Game Awards and our thoughts on all the trailers and things shown there.
Oh yeah.
Thursday back with yourself on the World of Gaming.
Exactly.
Friday Avatar. Saturday ESO. The following week will be our last before Christmas because that takes us to the 20th.
Yes.
And I've got a few guests lined up for that show. Hopefully they can make it. They're all kind of finishing their things off as well. So fingers crossed. they can, but there's 3 awesome guests lined up for that show, and we're going to break down 2023 in gaming.
Nice.
So all the best and the worst, and what we look forward to in 2024. So yes, that's what I've got lined up.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, guys. So thanks again to everyone who came out here and hang out with us for the last 2.5 hours to talk about all the things that happened at the Game Awards and everything else. Shout out to you guys. Big thank you for all the super chats, and a big thank you to all the channel members that do support. We will be back with the World of Gaming next week, regularly Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. UK time, or 8 p.m. Central Europe. And other than that, we have a great time to be. It is a great time to be a gamer, and we so many games to play. So yeah, keep it up, and don't forget to game.
Have you not got your end of? Have you not got your end of year stream coming up soon?
I have planned it, but it looks like it might not happen. It might be that we do that in January. A year in a review show. I will tell you in the green room in a second.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Okay, guys. So yeah, see you guys next week. Until then, and game on.